Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 48th session of the Devouring Derek. Um, so, last time, everybody was trapped in this weird under chamber of this efreet's chariot, and a lot of stuff happened. Um, you guys got in a fight with each other, Edo-san and Goroth mostly. And it resulted in an enemy showing up and Goroth being turned into a giant eagle. And let's see. At the end of that, there was some burnt stuff. You repaired that. There was some dream stuff that happened. And that was pretty much all that we got to, I think.
Yeah, I don't personally recall the dream stuff.
Um,
That might have been with Lolly.
yeah, Lonnie and we can barely hear you still.
It was with both of them, Lonnie and Avatar.
Ah, yes. They both had a bunch of dream stuff happen. And you had to leave at the end of it, I think. So
No, I think before that.
you don't remember the weird fox dream?
Oh yes, that. Now I recall that.
Yes, and the scorpion dream.
Yes, now I recall.
Okay, so that you saw. The rest of it was mostly me going through some backstory stuff with James, pretty much, I think, if I remember correctly. So, you guys have awoken. Lily was interested in your discussion about music.
Sorry.
She was interested in your discussion about your patron, which had something to do with her, perhaps, in her backstory. So, you guys discussed that a little bit, like possible ways to summon him, stuff like that. So, to get into this, Goroth, you are a giant eagle still. So you can do giant eagle things, but other than that, not much else. And
well, I had my long rest, so technically I could do one wild surge without casting spells.
yes, you could do that. And Edo-san, you were continuing to work on your lenses, which are pretty much complete.
Well, the build is complete now to make sure that they don't break if they're like hit too hard.
Alright, so you're working on that.
Reinforcing them.
So Lily has gotten a bunch of information that she's not sure how to process entirely. So she's sort of off in the corner thinking. You guys are still stuck in this room. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, as I said, I was going to reinforce the lenses.
Yes, we got that part. Anything else that needs to get done?
Well, perhaps after that, try to find a way to carefully peek outside of the trap door that's keeping us safe.
Okay. You can attempt to do that if you want. But before we get to that, anything else that anybody else wants to get done? while in here?
I'll fly over to Alatar.
All right. A giant eagle flies over to you.
That's cool.
I'll use my beak to poke you in the chest.
Okay, that happens.
Why are you poking me?
Let's see, what more can I do?
Not much.
That's really. Is there any like skull fragments or anything left in the room at all?
They have remained in the room, though they are disenchanted from whatever necromantic magic was.
Yeah, and there are a few missing, which Arison is carrying.
Alright, so you have those. But other than that, there's still pieces all over the place.
So yeah,
Because you guys haven't bothered to clean them up, so.
I pick at you one more time, and I pick towards the skull.
It's technically in little pieces all over the place, so.
One of the pieces.
Alright, that happens. Alatar, anything?
Guys,
Yeah,
you're
I'm good
being
right now.
pecked at by a giant bird.
Yeah, I know the bird.
Apparently, Alatar is fine with just chilling.
We're still stuck in a room, you know, trying to figure out what's going on.
Alright, so Giant Eagle does nothing, and so does Alatar, apparently. So, we'll get to the next part, which is Ado-san gets a little fidgety. He's not too comfortable with having to stay here. Even though he has stuff that he wants to do, he still wants to at least try to see if he can peek out of the room. So you walk up to the upper area where the stairs lead up to the trap door, which you guys entered. You walk up to it. What do you want to do?
I'll try and get push it up and try to get a tiny slit, and if we're still the plane of ash, think get a face full of ash, or if we're not, see where we are.
Okay. You reach up and you put your hands on the trap door. Time to roll some stuff.
Oh boy.
If I remember correctly, this is what I did before. You take 9 fire damage as you place your hands on the trap door. Do you wish to continue pushing it to see if you can open it?
I'll pull my head back and stick all my fingers in my mouth.
Alright.
Hot.
Yeah, you basically have, like, not severe because you managed to pull your hands back fast enough, but it still hurts. Burns on your fingers.
And then grab my hammer while all the fingers in my mouth, and then push it open with my hammer to see if I can see anything.
And the funny part is, Lily got hurt by this last time, so you should have remembered not to do that, but either way.
Wooden handles, so paper, hooray!
Oh, I left the door alone.
Well, how does Arison know? He doesn't know. He was just busy with his thing.
Fair enough. So,
you hear some bird squeaks. If you're a druid, you can interpret this as laughing.
Alright. So, you sort of put your... Which tool were you using specifically? Just that way I can...
My light hammer, so use that like a pull or something to push it open gently.
Alright. I'm going to say that your weapon, if you put your weapon in contact with this thing for more than one turn, your weapon will have the properties of heat metal.
Oh, good thing that the head is stone and the handle is wood.
Okay, fair enough. So you go and push it up. You manage to get the latch, and the wooden handle. Let's see. The wooden handle catches fire a little bit just by being in proximity to the heat, but you still have a few seconds if you wish to push it open.
I just want to get a tiny split to get a bit of to see where we are.
Okay, so you start pushing it even though there's quite a bit of heat and the handle is ablaze almost.
Well,
But
I can always fix it.
the part that you're holding on currently isn't on fire, so you can still continue. You push up the trap, and you get a face full of ash, and it's currently like heated, super heated ash. And if you hold it open for more than a couple seconds, then it is going to fill the room entirely almost.
Yeah, as soon the first few particles of ash get in, instantly drop the hammer. Just not let it lower, no, drop it.
Okay. And as that happens, you take. Since you're not just touching the thing, you're getting into contact with the actual heated particles. You take 11 points of damage just from that couple seconds of being in proximity to the ash. Your hammer is currently on fire, the wooden parts. The stone part is looking like it's even. The stone part is melting a little bit. And you dropped it to the floor, so the heated stone is almost coagulating and hardening to the floor.
So Erson just grabs his deacon and goes stream, splashing the water in his face.
Alright, yeah, you don't take any more damage, but there a little bit of superheated ash goes into the room before cooling down fairly quickly because the room is a lot cooler than it is outside. So the ash is in the room. There's like a big cloud that just erupts throughout the room, and if you breathe it in a little bit, you just cough. But otherwise, he was closest to the actual heated damage, so he took the damage, and it's not going to hurt you. But there's ash in the room now.
Yeah, after having like cooled my face off, I look at my hammer and use my mending cantrip. Oh, cantrip is a cantrip.
Alright, it takes a minute to cast, so everybody can react as you're casting it.
Mending cantrip.
So the room has a lot of ash in it. Any reaction, Alatar?
So,
You have a fly in the room.
11?
I
Did you-
peck at you and look towards the stairway.
Yeah. Check for the stairway.
I'll go there too.
Alright, you go up there and
I'll fly over there, so when I'm flying, I like wave my wings to wave the dust all over.
alright, fair enough.
Speaking of-
The
So
dust
you're
is-
just basically covering Arizona in more dust.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and there's dust everywhere in the room also.
I'm
But
gonna shower now.
when you get up there to where Alatar is, you witness him casting magic that you've seen him before to repair things. So he's trying to repair his hammer, and you look at the hammer, it's in rough shape, but the magic will probably fix it.
Yeah, you're just seeing in the middle process it just forming back together slowly but surely.
Okay.
And it does. So, any reaction?
Yeah, let him finish his thing.
Alright, the hammer reforms into its previous form. All the particles, nothing stuck to the stairs or anything, and none of the wood is burnt anymore. It's back to the way it was before.
Cool.
So Arison picks up and puts it on his belt and then looks up and dusts himself off. So, you want to ask something?
So, Alatar is the only one who can speak.
You got a thick skin, man.
You want to say anything to him?
I didn't quite catch what he said.
Yeah.
No, so we gotta get the hawk back to not being a hawk. The eagle.
Well, you mean the
I
eagle
know
back
that.
to... So you mean the eagle back to frog?
It'd be smaller and easier, yeah.
Well, plucking it might help.
I start waving the dust all over as much as I can.
Okay, that happens.
See, he already is back to his old manners.
Where to next?
Lily from downstairs goes.
Well, didn't Gorov push all the dust into the staircase where Arizona currently is?
Well, that's what I attempted, but I assume it went everywhere.
Yes, that is what happened. It was already everywhere, and it was just sort of floating in the air above everybody. But then once you started flapping it around, an air current just mixed everything together. So
He made it worse.
it did get Erosan more dirty, though, but it also did a lot of other things. But unless of you guys have anything else you want to do.
No.
Oh, Arizona starts walking up to Eagle Gorov.
Alright, that happens.
And tries...
What?
Do you stare just at me or what?
I stand back up and flap my wings.
Yes, flappity flappity flap. And I try to snatch a feather.
Okay. Does Goroth resist?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so then it's contested. I'm gonna say it's contested dexterities, which Goroth has to roll with the giant eagle dexterity.
Yeah, I know.
Just straight dexterity?
Yeah.
Oh boy, 12!
Alright, so Adosan grabs a feather as you attempt to move your body out of the way by flapping. Instead, he was grabbing for your body, but when you flapped to move back, he actually grabbed the tip of your wing and pulled a feather off.
So do I take like 1 point of damage? Or...
No.
Okay.
It's not enough to deal damage. Eagles lose feathers all the time.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt them.
So then
I'll bite at the finger he plucked the feather from me.
Alright.
As he tries that, I just shove. Well, that doesn't even hit me.
It doesn't
Alright.
hit.
So he attempted to attack you, which missed. So then it's in your court.
Well, then I just lightly tap his beak with my hammer, like, don't do that. I'm trying to help.
I'll allow that to happen.
Sure.
Then I go to detect magic on the feather, try to see if there's perhaps something that I can help with. Trying to get Gorf back to being Gorf.
Sure. You cast detect magic. Do you use it
That's
as
a ritual.
as a ritual? Okay, so that's going to take a little while to do as a ritual.
Gonna be all sorts of magics.
So, Goroth, you witness him sort of get into a meditative state for a moment.
Yeah, I let him.
Alright, so if you're going to allow him, then I'm going to say that it happens. So you cast Detect Magic. You look at the feather. I don't know if druids have specific magic type or not.
I mean, there's the spell polymorph, but I don't think they use it in the same way.
I'll say that it's the same class of magic.
So it's transmutation then.
Okay, so then that's what it is. So you sense transmutation magic on the feather, as well as Goroth entirely.
Can I assume perhaps a solution to the problem?
He has transmutation magic on him. If you had dispel magic or things of that nature, that would work. But you're not entirely sure if there's another solution other than that.
So I look over at Alatar, and since he has all the weird magic which I didn't expect, and ask him, by any chance, do you have dispel magic?
I do not.
Well, okay, then there's always option B, but I don't think our feathery friend would like it a lot.
Well, I'll say that you do know that transmutation magic allows people to change into other things, such as other creatures or whatnot.
Yeah.
So you can assume that it might work the same as another transmutation magic spell of that nature. So
Yeah, I do recall one transmutation magic working like as long as you have hit points in your life that you stay in that form, but if you drop to 0, that you change back. I remember one of them being like that.
Yeah. That is true. So your character could know that, I'll say.
Yeah, so Erson goes like, I do know a way of perhaps helping, but I don't think you will find it very advisable and likely to do. Should I even mention it?
I can't speak, so whatever I say, you won't really understand what I mean.
Well, I'm telling this to Alatar.
Alright. Alatar, you hear him say this.
Okay. What is it?
Well, basically, hit him until he goes knockout.
Huh. Okay. Let's do it.
What?
Let's do it.
He's saying it's up to you, basically.
I said let's do
So
it.
yeah, I just look back and forward to both of them, and I squeak towards Lily.
Lily just looks up and says, "No! You're not gonna hurt my eagle friend!"
I fly over to Lily.
And then she hugs him.
If she lets go, there is like a lily-shaped form in all the feathers.
Basically.
You know, that this might be the only way we can get you back to normal, like, in a decent amount of time.
Cry?
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna be this the whole time we're here.
Cry.
So it's up to you. You either let us like knock you out, you might change back. If not, well, we're sorry. But if you do, then hooray, it worked. And you are you again. So 1k for yes, we do that. 2k for no, we don't do that.
I look up, but I don't say anything.
Silence means yes.
He doesn't care. Let's do it.
I shriek out.
All right.
So
Are
yeah,
you go-
initiative then. How to
Oh,
resist,
God.
but they can try.
Okay.
They can try.
You guys can roll initiative if you really want.
And do remember, DT is going to also join in because DT.
All right.
So I can't really do. I'll just click on me there,
Yeah, clicking you there, and
and I have a +3, so I'll just have to add it up to 14 then, because the eagle has more dex than me.
yeah, then just double click your number and you can edit it.
There.
There we go. She is going to not want you to change him back.
She can heal me. It's fine.
So
Yeah.
basically, you two are going to have to do like a giant eagle's worth of damage, unless if she runs out of spells. So let's see. She has a +7 to her initiative. Not sure how that works.
Oh,
And
me
maybe she has
neither.
a feat alert or something. I don't know. That's like a +5 on dex.
She is
She is alert.
halfling.
She is
Oh.
alert.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's +5. So.
Which is something I didn't know. Doesn't alert give her, like, she can't be ambushed and things
Yeah,
like
she
that?
can't be surprised. She's never surprised. Like, we could be surprised, but she will never be surprised.
Okay.
Yes. Even if she sleeps, she knows what's going on.
And she also has the feat mobile, which
Yeah,
I don't know
I mean,
if that
at level
affects
8,
it.
you could have taken. That means she can move 35 instead of 25. So.
Ah, so that is helpful. I didn't know that she took those, so those are useful things to know.
Oh, and with mobile, she can hit the creature, then move away without getting an opportunity attack.
That's also useful. But either way, she has an initiative of 7, which is, I don't know, I think it's higher than everybody else.
Yes, it is, because our son is the current highest with his 5.2 initiative,
Yeah,
because
hers
of
is,
dexterity maximum all the way.
yeah, so hers is higher than yours.
Let's see, what did she roll?
12. She rolled 12, but her bonus is higher than yours, is what I meant.
Yeah.
So if you both rolled the same number, then her bonus would outbeat yours, is what I meant.
Well, I doubt that, because I have a little 20, and that's a feat that helps it increase to a higher level. And it's the wrong way around.
Yes, I noticed I clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah, and technically there's no rule for whoever has the highest dex goes. It's just players decide amongst themselves or re-roll if they find
Well,
that
there
better.
is actually one that's like the dexterity tie break.
Yeah, in Roll20.
I use it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm going to change it to, since her initiative number is higher, I'm going to say it's whoever has the highest initiative bonus. Which is usually just dex, but it changes if she has the feat. So that will be my technicality.
Yeah.
So if she gets the same as somebody else, then she would go first technically.
Makes sense.
So,
Yeah,
DT is going first.
So what Lily and Gorov can see is just DT just sprinting up to them.
Alright.
And is Lily still considered an ally?
She,
Yeah.
for the purposes of this fight, she doesn't want you to hurt Goroth in his eagle form. Therefore, she is going to be opposed to DT simply because she doesn't. There's a higher priority than DT being her ally. So.
Okay, how far away was DT from Gorf and Lily?
I'll say that you guys, since you were sort of arguing, you guys were in a cluster, and then he flew over towards her, so she's a little distance away. I'll say 30 feet.
Okay, let me. So that
That's
gives me a free action to do, cause let me see. I just need to find the right creature again, cause I
Wasn't
kind
it
of.
that Velociraptor or whatever?
Yes, it was. Let me just see if I can really quick find it. Beast. Large beast.
Excuse me.
No, it wasn't the Velociraptor actually.
It was a type of raptor. I
Something.
forget what it's called.
Utah Raptor, I don't know.
Something raptor.
Yeah, usually you would have your stats pulled up already. But
Yeah, I have, but I can't seem to find the button for it to
Oh, the
like.
button.
Zeloraptor.
Yes.
As I have the stats now, I know again. It just shoot into my mind. Yes, there we go. Zeloraptor.
Shoots in my mind.
Wow. If Zeloraptor moves at least 20 feet straight forward towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, the target
It's a
must
pounce, basically.
succeed a DC attack check or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the Zeloraptor can make one bite attack as a bonus action.
Yeah, so basically it's a creature that has pack tactics, which wolves have, and it has pounce, which is what cats have. Cat creatures. So it's an interesting creature. But you can go ahead and do that. Which is why he was asking if she counted as an ally next to it.
Mm-hmm.
So no, she is not considered an ally in this moment. But you still can do your thing, so your pounce ability.
So a bounce ability allows me to do some really freaky shit, and that is one which I named Spiked Brass Knuckles, because I can. Because I made
Alright.
DT like that.
So 17, I'm pretty sure that hits a giant eagle.
Yeah, it does. It's not too hard to hit.
So that's 10.
So you take 10 damage, and what does the pounce do? Does it, like, knock him prone?
No, he needs to make
no,
a
it doesn't.
DC 13 strength. And he isn't prone, but
Okay.
You have to be prone for your bonus action attacks.
Yeah, so that was my everything that DT could do.
Okay. Fair
Because
enough.
if I want to do multi-attack, then I should first do the spiked boots, then the brass knuckles.
That's fine. You'll know for next time. So Alatar, I assume that
Yes,
you're going with DT and Arosan.
Yes.
Suddenly,
go ahead.
there's it's a free for all. Suddenly,
Yeah.
everyone for himself.
Alatar,
you were picking me and you were picking at me, so.
It's
yeah, just suddenly Alatar just starts attacking everyone.
yeah, he likes one Eldritch Beam on each one.
Depending on what I roll, yes.
They both hit, and I'm likely out of my eagle form. Do your damage.
Yeah, roll your damage.
9 and 6.
So 15.
Are you still in?
I'm still in my eagle form with 1 HP strong.
You sure?
Yeah, I have 1
Okay.
HP.
10, 9, and 6, which is 25.
Yeah.
So,
I have 26.
God. So I go like, Lily, he took crap. Oh wait, he wanted to take your coins for himself.
From Lily's perspective, you're just attacking an ally who she doesn't hate for no reason, and
Yeah, 'cause
she
you
likes
didn't
his
pick
new
her.
form. And doesn't want you to change him back. So even if this is going to change him back, that's not a reason for her to not side with him.
She's a
So,
child.
so therefore, she is not convinced. She goes,
Fair enough.
"Stop hurting my pet!"
So Erza
Move to a
looks
rock, okay?
at Gorov. Are you sure you want to be her pet?
I don't answer you. I just use my beak to peek at the eyes of your construct, and then I claw it afterwards.
All right. Yep. So you get the multi-attack, which is your
Natural one.
talons, which is your talons and beak. So go ahead.
So,
Nope.
no, actually, I still have my because I've rested, so I have a Tides of Chaos. So I could re-roll, which I will, because natural one. So
All right.
18 for the first one,
That
Oh,
hits.
nice.
and then
Come on,
14
one.
for the second.
Nope.
All right,
Okay,
but
so
you
for
still
the
have to
18
roll on your table.
Yeah, I'll just do the damage first, which is easy.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Plus 3. So yeah, 7 damage as I try to pry out one of the construct's eyes.
What are you trying to do? Trying to peck some termites off it?
Well, he did do some damage, so it's not
So,
like
yeah.
he's ineffectual.
Oh
90.
boy, not a, thank God not 100.
Oh, jeez.
I actually have the sheet pulled up, so I can read
so
it as well.
all plant life within a mile of me dies.
What
You're
plant
not
life?
sure what effect that will have, so
Yeah.
you're stuck inside. There's no plants in here, so you don't see the effects of what happens.
Nothing happened. I just hit better.
Yeah, apparently. So that's your turn, I would say.
Yeah.
So
Then it's Lily's turn.
Lily is gonna go, "No, stop!" and reaches towards Goroth. Just gonna see what healing spells she would probably have taken.
Probably lay on hands. I mean,
Lay
that's
on
the.
hands, yeah.
Yeah. Well, lay on hands works, but I'm just seeing what other spells she has.
Okay.
To see if any of them are helpful.
Because you could just do like 25 HP in one touch.
Right?
Yes, that's true. But I'm going to see if she has any other healing spells that might be helpful.
That are more fun.
She has. I don't think all these things are in the right place. Because Cure Wounds is not a cantrip.
Well, unless she has something for that.
No, it's not a cantrip. You don't have anything to make it a cantrip.
So I think she has her spells in the wrong slot. Therefore.
Oopsie floopsie.
Yeah, all her level 1 spells are mixed in the cantrip slot. I'll have to figure that out later. Actually, what I'm gonna do is, since it's all screwed up, I'm going to allow Ben to fix it if he wants to.
I can do it later, sure.
Oh, it says you can already edit and control it.
Yeah, you did that earlier.
So you can go ahead and try to fix that. All those spells. But either way, yeah, she can just use lay on hands, which is what she's gonna do. And I don't know how many points she can use.
She has 40 total, so she can choose how many she wants to use.
Well, she's gonna heal you fully, so.
Yeah.
25. Poof. And that's her action, right?
Yeah, action.
So, as a bonus action, pretty sure she can use
Sanctuary, Shield of Faith. I don't know what she has prepared because of this, though, but Sentry or Shield of Fate would have been.
I don't think it's been changed since last time. So I'm just gonna choose some spells that she probably would have taken. Not at random though. She would have chosen them. Let's see. Yeah, there's no. You can't like summon a spiritual weapon or anything like that. That's a different class. So therefore, she's going to, yes, Shield of Faith. Is that a bonus action? Just to double check.
Yeah, it's a bonus, but it's a concentration as well.
That's not going to matter.
Probably not.
Unless if, oh, you somehow clicked the wrong one, even though I clicked the correct one. But either way, yeah, one bonus action. So you have a +2 to AC. So you all witness as a weird bubble of radiant energy just appears around the giant eagle. All right.
Aerosol is not happy.
All right, Aeroson.
You forced my hand to do this, Lily. I didn't want to do this. Just pulls up his gun.
All right. She goes, "No!"
Were you so mean?
She would say that if she had the time to.
You really forced my hand. I really didn't want to do this.
So you're gonna shoot her?
No, not her. Big bad bird.
All right, go ahead.
I'm considering which one I should pick, because I'm afraid I might go overkill if I pick the wrong one.
Just do it.
Well, the only reason I was thinking that you were going to shoot her is so that way the shield goes away, but it's up to you.
I can basically shoot through the shield like it's nothing.
Well, give it a go. Let's see if you hit it.
Let's see, is this the right one? Yep, this is.
Sorry.
How much?
Kaboom,
Yeah,
26. It's one of my lesser damaging ones.
Alright. Go ahead. Roll damage.
Yep, that's knockout eagle.
Alright, so
Yeah.
keep track of how much damage it does over, because that matters.
Oh god, it's going to be transferred. Be glad I didn't do my shot of pain and death and doom.
So, keep track of that number.
I'll call it a word.
13.
Alright, so you have 13 extra damage on you. Which you were at full health at the start of this, so if you had anything on your sheet that indicated otherwise, you had full health. So,
yeah.
Subtract 13 from your total, and as he does that, you just hear, and it's really loud and echoing in the room. And it almost deafens everyone in the room. You hit the eagle, and suddenly, a magical white flash appears as he gets hit, and suddenly the frog-like creature that he was before just falls down to the floor. And Lily goes,
Yay.
"No!"
That sounds about right.
He still has the radiant energy around him, though. If that matters at all at this point.
Well, I guess there won't be any more birds today, Lily.
And she has a big frown on her face.
At least we can talk now.
Yeah, that's important.
Did you hear me talking earlier?
He was
Well,
trying to talk.
if you mean a lot of screeching and a lot of cawing, then no.
I mean,
Even when I was playing him, he was trying to actually physically speak, but I wasn't saying the words he was trying to say.
Oh, squawking annoying.
I mean, it's not my fault you don't comprehend bird languages.
If I wanted to talk bird, I would have been a bird.
You should try it one day.
So
Not on my feet.
You might have to ask your patron if he has any abilities pertaining to changing into creatures.
So,
Right.
Gorov, is that hole like stinging a lot?
Yeah, you do have a bullet wound. It's just not as severe as you might think from since you got hit as the eagle form.
Yeah, it might also be a bit bitey, the bullet wound, because it is infused with acid.
Yeah, it did create a larger hole, but the acid eventually evaporates. It's the type of acid that you were using. It evaporates.
We slowly tend to heal pretty fast, and then just take my hand over it, and then as I do, the wound disappears because I cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
With my racial ability.
Fair enough.
So Arson just walks up to it, holds up his finger. You know, if I start touching that place right there, he gets real close to the hole, but stays away just far enough. Just admit that you need healing, or I will poke it.
With a stick.
Feel free to poke it. You might end up in another dimension.
So
you.
Well, it's your choice, really. I mean, I'm kind of sick of the Plane of Ash either.
And then I boop him just right on the nose, giving him cure wounds.
Alright. So, with the Disguise Self spell, technically the wound was gone, but you still had internal damage, which is how we rule that. So, you still get healed. However much he heals you.
Yeah, I said to click it up. Well,
I mean, the wound was still there, the bullet hole and everything. It was just not visible.
Well, I'm pretty sure Disguise Self does a lot more than just. It actually changes your physicality.
No. Not Disguise Self, because like if I were to turn into something a bit bigger, if somebody were to wave their hand across the top of my hand, they would go through.
Okay.
So my real form would still be original, but if some part of it were too big, like it would just be invisible and stuff like that.
It is right there.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the spell that worked that way.
Yeah,
but,
so
there's
if I
another
were
one that alters stuff, that physically alters you, you can like.
Okay, it's alter self. That's the one.
Yeah, so if I were to poke him right where the bullet hole was, then my finger just would go straight through.
And you would be the banished.
Again.
Alright, so we don't need.
But this time I just booped him over the nose, giving him a slight cure wounds.
Alright, so you healed 4 points, which you still have 9 points of damage.
Oh yeah, bit of advice. Use pliers to get it out.
Pliers? I'm sure it'll pass eventually.
So, Arson holds pliers, these things.
Famous last words.
And bullets don't pass, they stick. They're like a tick. If you leave them in, they're not going to be very handy to your body.
Well, we Slani tend to regenerate pretty easily, so.
Yeah, but this thing stays in your body, doesn't come out unless you pull it out.
There's plenty of other things in my body. I'm not too worried about the bullet.
Alright, here's what I'll say. Arosan, you don't have to admit this, but you don't know how slatty physiology works. So you're not sure if it's going to remain in there or not.
Well, he bleeds, so that's enough knowledge for me.
Okay, but I'll just say that you're not sure how it works. It might be like, if you ever saw, like, I forget the name of the movie, but they have those werewolves that get shot by bullets and stuff, and then when they regenerate, the bullets just sort of pop out of their skin, that sort of thing. So it might work that way, but you're not entirely sure.
That's kind of cool.
You're not entirely sure how it works.
Well,
I'll be fine.
Okay,
But
never
you
said.
you can be stubborn and just say that that's how it's going to work anyway. It's up to you.
Well, if it stays in and I need to cut you open, I am going to say the following line: "I told you so."
There likely won't. I'd rather teleport it out somehow. Or leave it behind on the next journey we go to.
Wait, you can do that?
Or you could just die again, and then that wouldn't matter. So.
Basically, his idea is like if you ever leave another plane, it will be gone anyways. It won't come with him.
You're not sure if that's how it works, but it might.
I may believe it.
Yes, that's true. Also, like I was saying, if you drink that liquid, any of the things that would have been stuck inside you, you were basically born with a new body. So that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
If you died again by drinking that stuff, then it wouldn't be there anymore anyway.
So yeah, I hope you get it out. Otherwise, I have a lot of medicine to practice on.
Don't see any bullet horns anymore, bullet holes anymore. I'll be fine.
That'll be fine. Famous last words.
I mean, I've already died once since I found you. You guys are really not good at taking care of each other.
Says the big sladdy.
I mean, I've done my best.
Which he's actually a lot taller since you first met him.
I'm like 14 feet taller than when I first popped out.
Yeah. So.
One paddle one.
No, not 14 feet, not 14 inches. I meant. Yeah, 14 feet would have been.
That's about a foot. That's over a foot.
Over a foot.
So that's still quite a bit.
Yeah. So Harrison is there in standard room, so goes like, so got anything interesting to tell? Cause I'm getting pretty bored.
I mean,
Yeah, even my own things are boring at times.
I mean, interesting to tell or show. I can always do tricks.
Well, as long we don't teleport, I'm fine with it.
I can't promise anything.
Nope, you don't do tricks.
Sit yourself.
Just like before. Just like the previous day.
Azar, do you perhaps can do anything that might be a bit more entertaining than what I'm doing to bore myself with?
I'll just tell you that he can only do cantrips or 2 spells.
Yep.
So,
well, cantrips are fair enough. I mean,
how about we do some sort of game then? I've heard humans and the material plane play those.
Well, I can make a few makeshift dice.
Splendid.
Can't guarantee them to be like very fair. There might be rolling a lot more 3s or 4s or 1s or for some reason because I need to make them quick. Then I can't make them very well.
so basically what he's trying to say is that there won't be properly weighted.
Yeah.
How about if I like hold up my hand and I cast minor illusion to make dices and try to make them roll like without.
You can try to do that, whether or not it'll be convincing.
I'll just attempt. I'll just attempt to just to see if they can roll normally or if it's
Just
right.
weigh the dice.
You can easily summon dice in your hand.
So I try to summon dice and roll them. I'm not sure how the rolling is gonna be, but.
So here's how it works. I'm actually gonna whisper this to you to make this more interesting. So that way they don't know what's happening. Whoops.
I have my doubts about magical dice.
I mean, you had your doubts about your own dice. Does anyone have any proper ones?
Well, if you give me some time, I can make some proper ones.
How much time?
Yeah, how much do you need?
Maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
That's not too long.
Yeah, it's not that long.
We'll be stuck here days anyway. So what do you want to do in the meanwhile?
Oh yeah, I can go make them while you guys do something else.
I sent him a message
Oh yeah,
on how
Facebook.
they will work.
Okay, but
Yeah, I can make dice, but it will take an hour to 30 minutes to finish them properly. At least I would say that is the time required to make proper dice from wood, for example.
Okay.
I'll be fine with that. So what do you want to do
What?
in the meanwhile? You wanna? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, well, if Matthew is okay with that as well, the time that I just estimated. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Were
I'm
you
asking
asking
you.
me something? I was typing to him. Sorry.
Yeah, I was asking you a question. If you were okay with I made a bit of an estimate how long it would take to make proper dice, which is 30 minutes to an hour.
Given that you have the proper pieces of wood or whatever material you want to make them out of,
Yeah, that's wood.
sure, you can possibly do that. You would have to make a tinkering check to do that.
Okay. So Tinker Tools, here we go. 19.
Alright. They look convincing. Are they six-sided dice? What kind of dice are you making?
That's 6-sided dice.
They're almost perfectly cubed. How many did you make?
I made 5.
Alright. You sort of just use one of your heated tools to make little circles on them to burn into the wood, just to make makeshift dice. So you have one side with 1, 2 dots, 3 dots, whatever. They're probably not ordered in an official way, but each side is probably most equally likely to show up as any other side. So it doesn't really matter what order you put them in on the dice, but
Well, actually, it kind of does. Because if you put them in the wrong order on the dice, because I have a big ass dice here, they will outweigh one another. So that, for example, the 1 gets more often than the 6.
yes. Well, either way, you think that you made them in such a way that it should be fine.
So yeah, Elson then puts them on the table and says, "Well, I made a 5. I hope they look pretty well."
Yeah, it seems like they'll do.
Yeah.
I don't know of any games though. We don't play much dice or in Limbo.
I heard a long time ago of a human game. They call it Yahtzee or something.
I mean, you can try to play. See if you have a cup.
Want to make a cup real quick?
I do even better. I have a cup.
What's the cup made out of?
Wood.
Wood? Okay, I'll allow it.
So Elson just puts the cup on the table, then looks at it. I only have no clue how it works anymore.
So we should probably make like a quicker version than rolling like all the dice all of the time. So a couple of d20s instead.
Yeah, I'll say, because technically the odds of getting a Yahtzee is such a huge number, I'm not going to bother making you roll like a D whatever number it is.
Just roll 5d6.
Yeah.
You can do that if you want. You can roll 5d6 per roll.
Well, I'm on street. I'm nearly at the Yahtzee. I think that's
You
a
rolled
Yahtzee.
1d6 there, Alatar.
So Axel goes first. Then I guess he keeps the sixes and re-rolls the
No,
other.
we're not gonna do all of those like that. Like if it's 5d6, then it's just the first one.
Okay.
To keep rolling d6s.
Yeah, I'll say that whoever gets the highest result, like the best result for Yahtzee, they're the ones who win.
Well, I think I nearly had the Yahtzee, if I'm correct, right? Yahtzee is that you have
Five
numbers.
of the same number, I think.
Yeah,
it's either that number. Or it's counting up. I'm not sure. I don't know.
5 of the same.
Well, then Ben and I are tied.
5 dice, right?
You have the higher number.
Yeah, you have the higher number.
Yeah.
We're not playing Yahtzee rules. That's dumb and it's gonna take forever.
Okay.
I mean, we could look up Yahtzee, and your character admitted that he doesn't really know the rules, so that's what we're gonna go with anyway.
So Arosan, yes, 21 again.
Arosan won the first round, so we'll roll again for the second round.
Yeah, we're not gonna keep playing because we eventually need to forward the plot.
Yes. I'll say we'll go 3 rounds, and then we'll decide who.
Ooh.
Okay. Arosan just goes like, nope, can't I do that?
Alright. You can roll for your third one.
You already rolled for the third one, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 6s, goddamn.
That is actually a really good roll in Yahtzee.
Really
especially for a natural roll without having to re-roll anything. So, yeah, you guys end up having fun, though Alatar's, I'll say based on the rolls that have happened already, Alatar seems to be doing unnaturally good. You're not sure why.
Well, it's actually a standoff in the second round, because Arosan and Alatar have the same amount of 5s.
I think it was the first round, but either way.
Yeah, the first round, Arosan won. Second round, Arosan and Alatar are tied. Last round, Alatar wins.
Oh, is it? Let's see. Yeah, I'm confused here. Just give me a second. Okay, so yeah, you won the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he rolled the wrong number of dice, which is why I'm getting different results than you.
The first one, yeah. Oops.
Yeah. So
then the second time,
one, he won with 4 sixes.
That's the third round.
No, see, that's where you're getting mixed up. On the first roll he made, he messed up and rolled 6 rather than 5.
Yeah.
Well, first he rolled 1, and then he rolled 6. So then he was like, oops, and then he rolled 5. So then on the second roll, he won with 4 sixes, and then on the third roll, he got 4, 1, 6, 4, 2 at the bottom.
Oh, then Actually, Allison wins the last round.
Alright. Wait. You win the last round with a 1-2-2-1-5?
Yeah, because you said the one with the most...
The highest number.
Oh yeah, the 4s. I now see the second 4 because I didn't see it quite right, so my
The
bad.
highest total number.
Yeah, so what I said should be still correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing unnaturally good, you're not sure.
Well, that was lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just shouts it. And your character isn't familiar with why he's doing that, but either way. Because he's familiar with human games, so it makes sense with his backstory.
Okay, you know the game?
Does your character know the rules of Yahtzee?
Oh, there, that's your turn now to decide.
Yeah.
History check or something.
You can roll a history check if you're not sure, but I'll let you just decide if you want.
I'll do a history check. Why not?
Alrighty.
If my stuff will stop moving, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you're well aware of the original rules, which you guys are playing wrong, but you were willing to join in either way.
In the speed version.
Yeah.
And you didn't say anything when I said I have no clue how this works again?
You didn't ask me. You just said you didn't know.
Yeah, I said it.
It is true. You did not ask us.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to play a game, so I came with a game. I said I wasn't sure about the rules. And then if you would know the rules, then you could have like jumped in and said, yeah, well, I know the rules.
But here's the thing. If I know the rules and you don't, I can go with them and I can say I win because you don't know the rules.
That's true.
Either way, how am I supposed to know the customs of your
Either way, annoyance aside from Edo-san's point of view, you had fun while you were playing.
See? It was a fun day.
Next time, just say when you know the rules.
There's no fun.
For what, actually? Like, I know some rules, but...
Also, you noticed that while you guys were playing, Lily was just sort of unnaturally not as cheerful as usual, just sort of sitting in the corner.
Where's Lily's popcorn?
She goes, in my backpack.
Want to pop some?
I say maybe our son killed it along with the bird. Just to see what happens.
She goes, I don't want any.
I want to build a mountain full of popcorn.
She turns away from you. Somebody's laughing.
Yeah, Lonnie is back, I guess. So, is she coming online, James?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay.
I think she's working then, so yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, come on. One big mountain of popcorn.
Yeah.
One medium-sized mountain of popcorn.
No.
One small-sized mountain of popcorn.
Yeah.
You know you want some.
I do, but I'm not hungry.
Give it 5 minutes, you'll be hungry.
You wanna build a mountain?
I thought you were gonna say, do you want to build a snowman?
Do you want some popcorn? Doesn't have to be popcorn.
Oh, we're gonna get flagged by the YouTube ad system.
Not like they're monetized anyway, so if somebody
Yeah.
wants to claim it, then they'll just get nothing.
Yep.
Right.
So, either way, she just seems upset. She's not into trying to be happy at the moment, it seems.
Well, no, I don't think I have the materials to make gummies.
No, you would have to make syrup and all kinds of other silly things that you don't have the materials for. Like, I assume you don't have, like, a pound of sugar.
Who doesn't have a pound of sugar in their bags?
Does Gorav have a pound of sugar in his bag?
Of course. I do have in real life too.
No, seriously, do you? Because then I am going to question everyone if they have.
Okay.
Don't take another man's sugar.
But I can make it sweeter and look nicer and cooler.
I don't trust you.
Aww.
The sugar.
Mine.
But it's just sugar.
And it's mine.
Do you have any honey?
Yeah, you don't have any of the other ingredients that might be
Well,
required.
no, I can't.
And I don't really have sugar either.
Well,
Well,
there were skulls, so that got crushed, and that's the gelatin right there.
Well, I guess
I
I
mean,
can.
you could make bone meal gelatin if you wanted to.
No, that's so crunchy.
Well, as long as you grind it up sufficiently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it still has that. It still has that bony texture.
Let's see, does it?
Have you ever tried it? Because it doesn't sound like you've tried it.
No, I haven't.
What are you talking about? We have some bone right there.
My gummy's squishy.
Arson just suddenly realizes he has a space gem, aka a gem for the meteorite, and then flops it on the table and projects lights to it to see what kind of colors it makes.
Raspberry.
All right. Let's clarify. What kind of meteorite do you have?
You didn't say that. You just said this is a space gem, and that's it.
Okay, I don't remember giving this to you.
Yeah, I
problem.
found it actually
When did you find it? That might jog my memory.
a long ass time ago.
Did you find it before going into the forest? After going into the forest?
I thought before entering the forest.
Okay.
Was it next to Michael from Jordan?
I don't remember what it was. Do you remember what town you found it in? If it was before, then it would have been. I don't remember giving it to you
Well,
at all.
do. Let's see if.
Do you remember the scene where you got it?
I thought it was after the part we helped the polar bear, but before we entered the forest.
I don't remember giving it to you, but if it was in that area, I know what it could be. All right. It's relatively if I'm going from that area. It looks strange. You pull it out of your bag and you almost forgot that you had it, which you almost did. And you sort of pull it out. It's got white little gems in it, and sort of mixed in with this dark brass-colored metal in between. You're not sure what it is made out of. You can roll to see if you know what it's made out of.
And that is
Nature.
nature. 21.
You're not entirely sure, but it could be a couple things. Like, with no reference point, you can sort of guess. And since you wrote meteorite, which I'm still not entirely sure why I would have given you this, but either way, if you wrote
Because
meteorite, I trust
yeah.
that that's what I told you it was.
Yeah, because I just wrote down because I was in a silly mood. I wrote down Space Jam.
Okay. Yeah, so if it's a meteorite, then I'll trust that that's what it was that I gave you. Let's see. You look at it. The whitish gem part is translucent. You can partially see through it, but it's kind of clouded. The darker part, you're not sure what that's made out of either, but you can guess that this is a strange mix of quartz and what is the
You said some
name?
kind of metal was also on it.
Yes, it's some type of metal. It seems like it's like an alloy, maybe, but you're not sure how alloys can appear naturally. You're not entirely sure about that, but it looks kind of like a mixture of metals that appears brass in color, at least. You're not sure. You haven't like beat it against a wall or anything to see how durable it is or anything, but
Yeah,
it kind of looks like brass.
So yeah, I found this a long time ago. Let's see what kind of silly colors can come from. Want to join in, Lily?
No, but I'll look. And she turns her head over.
So aerosol just makes light behind it, so that you know how certain gems make reflect light when there's light shine behind it.
You're trying to shine a light through it to see if it makes any like rainbows or anything.
Yeah, or anything. What kind of colors it make, or weird shapes of the light.
All right, you shine it through, and it doesn't make any rainbows or anything. It's not like sort of makes a shadow of the shape of the metal part, and otherwise it makes this like clouded like shape. Actually, from your perspective, that's what it looks like. From Lily's perspective, since you're sort of shining it in her direction, I need to make a roll for her. Since this is meteorite, I have a very good idea of what this could be. So I'm gonna just go with what I thought I was giving you for whatever reason. I'm not sure why.
Because I saw a star falling from the sky, and I was like, must have.
Yeah, I don't remember this, but either way, I assume that I did. All right. She goes, ah! Stop it!
So Elsa just stops it a second. Well, don't look into the light.
And she just sort of looks away, frustrated. She thought something cool was going to happen and it might cheer her up, but it didn't work. You just blinded her and she turned away.
Okay, then Erison just makes the light appear behind the rock then, and adjusts the meteorite so that on the wall where she's looking to, the reflected light appears.
I could blast it.
No!
Yeah,
that might do something other than what you intend.
You want to experiment with it?
Erison just stops making the light and slowly puts up the gun on the table like, no.
You want to shoot it as well?
Alright, so you guys who are behind the stone as he's shining the light through it, it looks fine. It just looks like it's relatively bright, and it's making like weird clouded shapes. whereas the outline of the black part sort of looks like the shape of the outline. It kind of looks like I'll just say it. It kind of looks like a poop, a little just round poop shape, but it's got like these white crystals on top and on bottom and on the sides that are sort of sticking out of it, and that's what's making the bright light. It's making the light brighter than the light that you're just shining, at least from your perspective from behind it, the light source. But Lily just went and didn't like it, so you're not sure what happened.
So Aerosol just holds the light bright. It's like trying to get the reflected light on the wall that's Lily looking at.
She's just not interested, it seems.
Yeah. Bummer.
Gosh.
So Aerosol just picks up his space rock and puts it back in the bag of holding.
Alright. That happens.
I do have truffles.
Which is mushrooms.
I know.
They're not the chocolate ones, they're just mushrooms. So you could make an interesting dish, but they're still just mushrooms in their current state.
Maybe not. Well,
The longer he talks about food, I'm just gonna. The more chances this wild surge starts happening. Just saying.
Alright. And as this is happening, actually, you hear. And you see what looks like light coming through the trapdoor, and then you see something get thrown, tumbles down a couple of stairs, and then.
I rush over.
Alright, you didn't get to see outside.
No, but
I'm just saying that if you were looking that way, you didn't get to see it. You just saw something fall down the stairs, partial way.
Yeah, that's the thing I was interested in.
Alright, you go up, bag, which is currently laying on the floor. It's a sackcloth bag. You saw it on the chariot when you guys were outside on the chariot. And it's a bag that you saw before, and if any of you looked in it, I assume some of you were curious and looked in it. It's a food bag.
Huh. I guess we even have food from this Hosif, was it? Hosmeesh.
Yeah, Hosmeesh.
Cool.
And it was oddly timed because you just started thinking about food when it happened.
Well,
well, who knows?
Know?
Maybe he reads minds as well.
So, I think I will go back to my work and instead of trying to entertain us somehow, that might be boring as well or very odd.
You're not sure what anybody else is going to be doing, but you can do that if you want.
Well, I'll eat. How about it, Altar? Do you want some?
So in the meantime, I'll be right back after, because I need to switch machines.
Alright. The food that is within the bag is... It looks like it was previously cooked meat. And it was salted or brined, possibly at one point as well. Because it's meat, and you can tell that it's meat, but it's got this weird greenish color, and it's got like white dots all over it, so you assume that it was heavily salted, and the green color may have come from a pickling process, maybe? You're not sure. But it's dry at this point.
Yeah, I haven't eaten in a while, so I'll start chewing on it, and I'll hand the bag to Altar.
Does your I'll allow you to make a choice in this instance. Does your character have an aversion to salty foods or sour foods?
I mean, being a slotty, probably not. He's probably used to eating whatever came his way when he needed food.
All right. It's extremely sour. It tastes like what a pickle tastes like, except for its meat. That's what it tastes like. And it's kind of salty too. It's a little bit over salted.
It's a rather strange taste.
So Alatar, you have this bag in front of you, and the meat, I'll tell you, it looks weird for somebody who's lived on the material plane and usually cooked fresh meat. Though when you went on longer adventures, you'd have salted meats. It still looks weird even compared to salted meats.
I'll still take a bite of it. It's been a long day, so why not?
Alright, and I'll allow you to make the same decision. Does your character have an aversion to salty or sour foods?
I'll go with no.
Alright, it's quite sour. Like I said, it's like eating a very, like a pickle that's been in the brine a little bit too long, maybe a couple years old. And it's way too salty. Like, if you were to add salt to something, you wouldn't even add this much salt if it had salt in it already. You wouldn't add any salt to this. Definitely, like it's like you just ate a you just stuck like a wet food into like a bowl of salt, and you just ate whatever was stuck to it. Is what it tastes like.
Nice.
So it's way too salty, but it's food. You might need something to drink after eating it, but you'll survive after eating it. It's not like it's so salty it'll kill you.
Yeah. Like I said, it's food, so yeah, I'll keep eating it.
All right.
And I must say the genie's place was better on the food, at least.
Yeah, the food at the genie's place was done to perfection. However you liked it.
Like, I was dead and I still thought it was good.
You tasted some of the cake from your corpse. So that happened. Like, when you were being birthed out of your own body, you sort of got some on your face as well, and you sort of tasted it. It was pretty good cake.
So, is there anything else gonna happen until we arrive at our destination?
Unless if there's anything else you want to do, probably.
Is there anything you want to do, Altar?
No, I mean, eat and rest. We're good right now.
Okay, so I guess we arrive.
Alright, I'll skip ahead. Whether or not you actually get to where you want to go, we'll see in a second. So we'll skip ahead for sure. He does similar things where he throws down a sackcloth filled with water as well. After a while, kind of a little bit too long for your liking, especially after eating that extremely salty food. Like he waits like a day after, and he throws down a thing of water. So you're like scrambling for it as soon as he throws it down. But either way, it gets thrown down, and you wait about 3 more days after this day, which is, so I'll say there was the first 2 days, and then you waited 3 more days. If there's anything that you guys wanted to try to do in those 3 days, I'll just skip ahead to that, unless if there's something.
Not really.
Alright.
I'd like to think of.
All right.
I mean, I would always show magic tricks if you're interested, but that might do stuff.
I'll say that you refrain from using your abilities just to make this simpler.
then nothing happens.
All right. I would like to know if Edo-san would have wanted to do anything, but Lily
He said
seems...
tinker with the machine and talk to Lily, but yeah.
Build something, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that that's fine. It's not like it would be out of his character to do that. You probably would have gotten in a few more arguments, but I'm gonna say that they resulted in not too much bad stuff happening. So,
we don't have to take like another 2 hours of argumenting about the dead
that's
bird.
true. That's true. That's what I was trying to get at. I'll say that they did happen, but nothing horrible resulted. Like, you didn't get teleported again or anything. Lily did cheer up after an abnormally long amount of time after being extremely sour for the rest of that day. After she woke up again, and she sort of perked up a little bit more, and then the next day she was back to normal. You're not sure why. If you wanted to talk to her about it, you can. I'm sort of taking some liberties there as well. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Like, this is what you're gonna get if you're not here. So, anybody can expect this to happen to them. I'll try to play your character as loyally as possible, but if I do something that you wouldn't have done, then too bad, I guess. I don't know. So
yeah, but we can skip ahead. I'm fine with that.
All right. But like I said, the only other thing that I can think of is if you wanted to talk to Lily about why she was so grumpy or whatever. You can do that, but...
We can assume things. It's fine.
Okay. Lack of communication, that's always great.
It is, indeed. Work in real life.
Yes. So 3 days pass, and he still hasn't told you that it's safe to come up. But I'm gonna say that those 3 days pass, and I'll say that during those 3 days, you tried the trap door a couple of times, and
no,
tried it.
I would have,
not your
others would try, but sure. But I would have just sent message up like once a day on a new day. So how long do you expect this to take?
All right. Every time you sent message up, he said, "Yeah, it's gonna take a lot longer." Even longer than he expected.
Okay, so then I wouldn't send the message back the next day if he says it's gonna be several days. Like, just when we're approaching that, I would ask again.
Okay. Well, the first time that you message up, he says that he encountered something he wasn't expecting. If you want to inquire on that, then you can...
Oh yeah, of course. I'll ask him why.
He goes, Ash demon got in my way.
Ash demon? Which one? Was it like a skull?
He goes, well, no, nothing like that. It's a creature made of ash. It prevented my passage for about half a day.
Do you have any more descriptions when I start to ask about the ash demon to get like information on it?
Alright, so basically he goes on to describe a creature that has necromantic energies relatively similar to what creates demons. Except this creature exists mainly only in this area. It exists other places, sure, but this area, they're plentiful. Usually he can get through here no problem, except this time one of them decided to harass him. Basically, it's just a mass of ash that creates into something that has like limbs and can affect the world around it in weird ways. And it sort of tried to destroy the chariot at one point, which he had to deal with that situation, which prevented him from moving for quite a while. It broke off parts of the chariot, which is why, though you guys didn't seem to notice any rocking or shaking while that was happening, yeah, it knocked off pieces of the chariot, which he had to fix after he didn't defeat the creature. He claims that his race has a hard time killing these creatures. You're not sure why. He doesn't
Fire against
specify.
fire.
That might be a good reason. And he had a hard time fighting it off, and it just went away after a while. He didn't like scare it away. He didn't defeat it. He just sort of attacked it for a while, hoping that it would go away, and it eventually went away. After doing severe damage to the chariot. At least that's what he says, Chief. And he repaired the chariot afterward.
I'd say there was an explosion in the hold as well, but we have repaired most of that.
He goes, you had problems within as well?
Yeah, there was a flaming skull in there. Have you heard about those? I think they're former necromancers, because I remember I had a good roll on that, right? So they're former necromancers.
Yeah, they're basically they don't necessarily have to be necromancers.
Yeah, wizards, but yeah.
They have to be infused with necromantic energy, which it's easier for necromancers to have. Yeah. To have necromantic energy infused in them naturally when they die. So, yes, that is common, but it doesn't have to be, is the point.
Yeah, I describe it as that either way.
Yes, I was just telling you, in case you didn't know. Because your character technically knows that, but either way.
Yeah.
Because you got a good roll. He goes, troubling.
I mean, you shouldn't pay too much mind. We had a griffin in here as well, of some sort. Not a griffin. An eagle. Yeah, an eagle, I believe. It was rather uncomfortable, but it passed.
There's a strange... Nothing that... He starts thinking weird thoughts to himself, which you can detect if you want, but...
Not right now, no.
Alright.
I'm not using it, so...
His message trails off and then cuts off randomly. But either way, he just goes back to steering the chariot, unless if you have anything else.
Yeah, Alatar, did you want to talk to the captain? I can easily just talk to him from here.
Yeah, Alatar, do you have anything you want to ask Hosmeesh?
You're muted.
Sorry, not that I can think of now.
Okay.
So, I'll say that Edo-san is busy tinkering with something or other.
Makes sense. So
you get to the third day, which is when he says that it will be approximately when you would get there. He wasn't entirely sure. Maybe he'd encounter another ash demon or something. He doesn't know. But he said that would be his estimate when you communicated with him. So you guys were just sitting there, bored out of your mind.
Looking, I ask him.
And he goes, not sure. We should be near the exit, but I'm not seeing it. I don't know how to describe.
Let me guess, there's a lot of ash. Or that's what I've heard, at least.
Well, yes. That is true, but...
Is there any more ash demons?
Not currently. You actually hear him pondering, you hear, is there one sort of mumbling thoughts in your mind that are incoherent unless if you dig deeper.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't see any nearby. They're sort of interacting with other. I'm not sure what that is. And he sort of looks. He allows you access to his visual memories if you want. You're not sure how
of course
this is.
I'll accept.
You're not sure how this is working through such a simple spell. So this kind of piques your interest. You're not sure what's happening. And he sort of looks over, and you see this weird black amorphous mass interacting with, and around him is an entire. It looks like a storm of ash, like a whirlwind of ash, is just blowing around him furiously, and it's kind of hard to see. But through it, you can sort of see in the distance this black amorphous shape interacting with what looks like a pile of ash in a circular formation with weird tentacles coming out of it, interacting with this black thing.
That would likely be the shadow. It's taken over a lot in the material plane and even got its foothold in the plane of air. It's had troubles in limbo, so it's not in every plane, as far as I know. Or I do know it's not in every plane.
Yes, that's fair to say, since you were from there. But either way, his visual memory cuts off, and then you just get the auditory message transfer again. And he goes, we haven't seen much of this black stuff. We've heard that there have been problems in other areas, but
it's pretty widespread in most of the planes, I believe. I've heard even some of the gods are having troubles.
This is troubling, but unfortunately you're trapped in there as long as I'm in this area, so I'm going to try to get you to somewhere safe.
Alright. We're not really trapped anywhere. I mean, you should have seen where we've been the last few days.
He goes,
Just the sacked. I'm back.
Okay. I just want to reconvene with him. There was 3 days after you finished your glass. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to get done in those 3 days? Because we sort
I
of skipped
want
ahead.
to reinforce it and then try to insert it into the scope that's on my currently.
Yeah, so basically what you made was a glorified iron sight before, which was just a circle with no glass in it. Like the scope with no glass. So it was a glorified iron sight, basically. So you tried to insert it. You managed to do so. You had slots in there, so that way you could get the glass in, no problem. You can even later on, if you wanted to make different sights, like different colored glass, if you wanted to use that, or enchanted glass later on, you have the ability to easily remove the lenses. So just for future reference, if you wanted to do that. So it's sort of like a hinge that it's attached to, and then you can pull it out.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to reinforce them as well.
Okay. So they're in there, and again, you reinforce them for this reason, but if in a fight, like the hinge sort of unhinges and the glass falls out, then that can happen, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, you get that done, you still have about a day, or 2 days, I should say.
I'll try and fit DT with the Death Slat sword.
Alright, roll a tinkering check.
Another tinkering check. I just opened my character sheet game. No, that's a bit too. And another tinker tools. 16.
Alright, 16. With a 16. Sorry, I'm just looking something up in my book. Just I'm on the right page now. You managed to fashion. Oh wait, I forgot. Which of the three options were you going? I forgot about that. You
Well,
remember
like,
what the three options are?
yeah, I do, and I picked one of them, and that is like integrate most of the sword in DT's hand slash arm, but
Okay,
have
so is it going to
like
be like an eject thing? So then
oh no
you
no,
can put the sword out, or what?
it's like worked into the brass knuckles that the spiked brass knuckles that DT has. He has
So
it
it
worked in
ejects out
like
of the knuckle area.
yeah, it's
So
like brass knuckles, and then he can just punch with it, and
and then it's like retractable is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Okay. So that would have taken you the entirety of the 2 days, and you're not entirely sure if it's going to work properly without a little bit more work. But it's inside the arm, and you've started on the mechanism. You're not sure if the mechanism is going to work properly without a little bit more work.
yeah. So currently it's permanently locked in the outside first. Well, extended extended form.
Okay, so it's sort of sticking out a little bit.
Yeah,
So you're not sure if it'll be able to retract properly. So it's just sort of, he's got this weird blade sticking out of his knuckles for now.
yeah. So yeah, with the other knuckles that are there. So it's currently locked in that position.
Okay, fair enough. So we're on that day. He said that he's gonna try to, it seems like, Goroth is trying to contact Hosmeesh telepathically through the chariot, through the built part of the chariot to the outside. So that's where we've gotten so far, just to catch you up. So, Goroth, do you have any more questions for him?
Yes, of course. And how was it you let me see through your eyes? That like a racial ability, or?
He sort of, in the message response, sort of fumbles over his thoughts a little bit. I'm gonna say make a wisdom check to see if you pick up on anything coherent.
Tides of Chaos. So that's a natural 1, which is a 0 and a 10. So yeah, 10.
Alright.
That's probably as high as it's going to go with wisdom.
Alright. So I'll give you the information, but you can roll your
yeah, sure.
roll on your table.
I mean, a 10 is better than a 0.
Yeah. He seems entirely confused. He's thought two thoughts at once, and it's sort of jumbled up in your mind. You're not entirely sure what he was trying to think. But two words do come to mind since you got a 10. I'll give you a little bit. Two words appear that seem relevant before he answers. He says, shouldn't, maybe.
And then the
Those
third
are
word comes as he looks up. Meteor!
Really?
Yes.
Is that the one you rolled?
79. That's a meteor.
Oh, good googly moogly. I'll say that you're in. It said, I think, as part of the description for that one.
So it's me and everyone within 5 feet of me.
Yes.
Oh, in melee range,
But
basically.
I think that we discussed that it would have to hit you when it's possible to hit you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It wouldn't be able to hit you through the chariot the way that the chariot is set up.
Yeah,
so,
when I leave then.
Yeah. He sees that there's a weird meteor-looking object sort of floating nearby, but other than that, he doesn't. He doesn't notice anything weird other than that. And you got shouldn't and maybe are the two words that sort of came up more prominently. And then he goes, Are you used a spell?
Oh, which one?
He starts fumbling over his words again. It's a spell that allows you to. It's more for military application. You allow someone else to see through your eyes, so that way you can approximate where enemies are, that sort of thing. I don't know if the spell has a formal name. You can roll to see if you get the name or not, if you recognize what the spell might be.
Arcana history. What?
Arcana would be the best one.
21.
Alright. 21. So you recognize the spell. It's more for people who don't cast magic normally. They can use this sort of spell. They get a magical enchantment placed on their eyeballs. It's very complicated. It's a complicated process. Like, they have to lay down for like a month while this mage goes over them every so often, every few hours, and enchants their eyes, basically, and then they can send the message, the visual information to the other person. It's called... I forgot the formal name I gave it. It's called... I think I named it Perspective Change, is the name of the spell.
Okay.
So it basically allows you to change another person's perspective to your own perspective.
So yeah, I've heard about perspective change. So your eyeballs are enchanted. Does that mean they can't be poked out? Are they unbreakable?
Well, they can be removed if you remove the area around them. So basically, he's saying you can scoop his eyeballs out, but
not destroy them.
Break them. You can't break them.
Oh, that must be really interesting. I would like to see that one day.
He goes on to say, well, once I had a sword stabbed directly into my eyeball and the sword shattered. It was kind of... I guess. That's what he says.
That must have been pretty funny.
Yeah, I laughed at the person as I killed them. Either way, different story.
Yeah.
So, unless you have anything else.
No. Just give us a heads up when we're there.
He goes, alright. We should soon be there if things are acting according to the way they should.
They tend to not, so...
Not with you, though.
You get the feeling like he's just happy and in agreement with you. And he sends that feeling over the message somehow. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it doesn't say anything else unless if you say something to him.
No, just be on the lookout for strange things.
Already was, but thanks for the advice.
Totally forgot about the meteor that's outside that they can see.
What meteor?
He has to actually make a perception roll. And since he was in conversation with Goroth, he wasn't actually paying attention, which might be bad. But perhaps in a few moments you will hear something from him, but perhaps not. You're not sure. So I'll say that an hour passes with nothing. If you guys want to do something.
Well,
I assume that Erosan is just going to be tinkering while he's waiting.
Yeah, he's gonna be tinkering, trying to get the mechanism working and cleaning out his gun to keep it in good condition.
Alright, so cleaning out your gun doesn't even require a tinkerer's check at this point. It's just routine at this point. You just with the different tools and whatnot. And it's in good condition. You can make another tinkerer's check.
Or
If you
DT.
On DT, yeah. You're just not getting the mechanisms working. And as a matter of fact, as you're trying to get one of the mechanisms to, like, you're testing it basically to see if it can extend more, and as that happens, the sword completely ejects from his fist, partially breaking his knuckles.
Well, try and get everything in place and well, basically do revert the damage. I call it by now.
Yes, you can repair his fist, and you can get the sword back in, but that takes a little bit of time, I'll say.
Yeah.
So, while you're doing, as soon as that goes, and everybody hears this loud shooting out noise, and then you see the sword clatter to the ground, and DT sort of just looks over at the sword on the ground, and looks at you, Erosan, and with his other hand goes,
Yeah, don't worry. You know it's hard to get those things right.
he nods. And he just looks at his hand, assessing the damage, you assume.
The damage that's now gone.
Yeah, now that you're repairing it. But
yeah.
I'm saying that for the purposes of time flow, that you're still in the process of repairing it. So, an hour has passed, Goroth.
Yeah.
You heard nothing from him.
After the conversation with him, I felt some of my magic was drained, so I'm gonna disguise myself as a genie. Not an efreet, yet genie.
Ooh, so you're gonna go as a... Okay.
Yeah, because why not?
So you're sitting down
What can go wrong? Yeah, I'm just a genie now. I look like a genie. I still have my actual body, but I look like a genie.
Don't you
mean you're just sort of sitting there, and you guys notice that there is now a genie sitting in the middle of the room. Not as big as Desif, which is the djinn that you saw before, but there is one sitting in the middle of the room, looks relatively similar to Desif, since that's how the spell works. You sort of base it on things that you've seen.
Yeah.
So he kind of looks similar to him, but he's a lot smaller and just sort of sitting in the middle of the room.
So Elsa looks up and goes like, "Don't do that.
Do what?
Please don't do that.
Do what?
Please just turn back."
Turn back to what? To an eagle?
No.
It'd be funny if you had a spell and then you just did.
Polymorph.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but
unfortunately
just
turn
that
back into a slad.
Slad? Well, I already used this spell once. I don't want to turn into another slad.
Does the spell effect end if I knock you out again?
I'll say that you're not sure which spell he's using, but it might.
I don't believe so, no.
Well, we can test it out.
I'd rather not.
So please dispel the spell what you're doing, because I don't think that's very proper what you're doing to our host.
Proper? I mean, it's fine. He'll learn to accept the jinns for what they are.
Not in that sense.
I mean, we're not gonna help him kill the jinn, so better get it out of his system now.
Also, not in that sense.
Well, either way, and I float both over to Alatar and sit next to him.
Yes, so your illusion appears to be floating, but technically
But
you're
I'm
walking.
walking, yeah, I'm walking. Looks like I'm floating.
Yeah. So he floats over about a foot off the ground. Because technically that's the area that you can change with your spell. Is about a foot. So you're floating about a foot above the ground as you walk over. Adelson, anything? He just floated over to you.
Not to Altair.
I said Adelson. Oh, you floated over to Alatar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Alatar then.
Well,
you have a floating Jinn in front of you. You were just sort of lazily looking off into the distance because you were extremely bored. And then you just see a genie float in front of you.
So what do you think? I'm practicing.
what's good on you?
Does.
And it's obviously Goroth's voice coming out of it, so you can tell that it's him.
It's better than the eagle.
It's better than the eagle. Yeah, I think so too. I'm not a big fan of the eagle.
So Arson just looks up at Alatar like, don't encourage him.
You never know when a genie might come in handy.
Genies are great.
Besides, we get 3 wishes now, right?
Yeah, what do you wish for? I'm sure we could figure something out. Or try at least. So what do you wish for?
That's a good question.
Arson just gets a book out of his bag of holding and a few books out of his bag of holding and set it up like a little wall. Just block out of view.
You can still see them, but the mental wall is there. You don't have books that are that big, but either way, you're trying, and the effort is noted by your companions, I suppose.
Well, I'm not sitting straight up now. I'm just going to lay down on the table to try to get them as much covered by the books and just have words in front of me.
Yeah, you can still see them, is what I'm trying to say, but you try to focus not on them. The effort is noted.
Great wall, that's not.
Because, I mean, your peripheral vision, you can still see them.
Yeah.
Still looking towards Altair and waiting for your wish, or Altair.
Yeah.
They have a good wish.
Nothing is too silly.
True. I'm trying to see if you can pull anything off. Alright. To make up for taking her pet, I wish Lily has her own pet hawk.
Lily has a what?
Pet hawk.
A pet hawk. Done.
Because we
and
took the other one earlier.
I use minor illusion to make a tiny, tiny, tiny pet hawk.
A tiny
over
one.
Towards Lily.
It's too small, so she won't mind.
She goes, "Why is this? Yay!"
It was a tree, you said.
Yeah,
No.
3 wishes. That's what he said.
I just said that, didn't I? Wow. What else could we use?
I'm still a genie in training, you know, so don't be too crazy.
True. Alessandro, you sure don't want anything?
Well, if he could give me a portal towards the material plane.
Done, and I banish you.
Right?
I said portal, not being banished.
I am the interpreter of the wishes.
Alright, suddenly, you appear on what looks like a tropical island. And, all you see is forest behind you, and in front of you is ocean, and you are currently standing on a beach.
So yeah, there's a final wish. I look over towards him.
So Ersan just looks around him and then says, "Gosh, damn sled."
Do you want to at least take in your surroundings before he potentially summons you back?
Yes, I do.
Alright, make a perception check.
Perception. No, that's the wrong
That's
one.
leather workers' tools.
I didn't even click it. Somehow, my cursor was on the other side of my screen, and it somehow clicked it.
So you begin to take out your leather workers' tools, and then you realize that's a stupid idea.
It's not gonna work.
23.
I thought I had my eyes in here.
Alright, so, you look around, and, you see what looks like a black jaguar currently sitting in a palm tree about 300 feet away, and it's sort of just lazily laying down. But since you got so high, you glance the other direction. There's one that's looking directly at you on another palm tree about 250 feet away.
Ooh.
And it looks like it's in a pouncing position on the tree.
I slowly get my teacup of endless water and says, "Geyser."
Alright. Do you summon him back before the minute is over?
That depends on what the final wish is.
Okay. So we'll cut back before
It
that.
looks like I have no intention of summoning him back because I just granted him a wish. It's what you probably can gather from the looks on me.
Oh,
I'm
this
fully
is not
into
gonna
this
be-
genie thing now. So,
Okay. So,
what's your final wish then?
final wish?
Go to, bring back Ellison. You guys can use his tools for other stuff.
Alright, so he wants him back. Basically, that's the wish.
If that's what you wish, it shall be done. And I snap my fingers and he's back again.
Okay. So, as you this is gonna be great. As you say geyser, the panther didn't, or the jaguar technically, didn't move, and you suddenly appear back in the room, and water just gushes everywhere.
No, it's actually aimed.
Well, you were aiming it, and then it hits whatever it was aiming at, and it splashes everywhere. Like, it hits the direction you were aiming. And actually, I'm going to get you to roll a d20 to see which direction you were aiming when you come back.
Isn't it D8 better for direction?
I like 20.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sure.
More the merrier.
8.
Alright. So, you're aiming at the trap door, and the water hits the trap door, and the trap door sort of moves a little bit, and water is spraying everywhere. Everyone is rained on. It's like a mist down on everybody. And you notice that the trap door opens a little bit, but nothing comes through.
Oh yes, I'm afraid, Arsan, that your wish has been overwritten by another wish. Wishes can do those things.
So Arsan just looks at Gruff, just sneering at him, just holding the decant, just considering to cast Geyser at him again. Just considering it. He's just on the edge of saying yes, but he's going like, oh, you.
I might be as strong as the chariot, but one day I'll get there.
Alright. So, as you're saying that, you look over at Arasan and he's just giving you the evil eye. Like, one of his eyes is just twitching furiously as he's looking at you.
I find it amusing. I've successfully granted 3 wishes. I didn't wish for anything out of my reach.
It's true.
You got a point there.
Don't tempt me to do it, Alatar, because I will.
By the way, did the rest of us notice the door open, or just...
No, it just went like, eh.
But he said we were soon finished.
It opened for less than a second, and you guys noticed that there was a bunch of water shooting up in that direction. But nothing came through.
How about I'll just shoot a message to the captain? So, how is it looking up there? We might have had a water leak.
I'll have to fix my room afterwards, but I guess that's the risk when you take guests. He seems to have avoided your original question.
Oh.
Like, what's going on up there? He just addressed the fact that you were messing up his room.
So I search his immediate thoughts without probing his memory. As my Rachel. Or first, before I use this, because I don't want to use it while I have a wild chaos. So I need some way to fix that.
Okay. So he starts, his thoughts wander off, and he doesn't respond.
I'll just let's see. I'll do what should I do? Sure, I'll just sense if there's anything magical around me. With advantage.
Well, you have a lot of magical stuff around you.
I had to think of something, I mean.
You actually, other than the magical items, before we get to that, you get the results of your roll. So, you look around you, and other than the magical items that your companions have on them, which you would be... Whoa, it's like we're in a wind tunnel all of a sudden. Anyway. Wind tunnel again. It's hard to concentrate. Either way, the thing that you notice, other than your companion's magical items, is that this entire room has magical glyphs on them that are very faintly engraved.
Huh.
But then, what do you do?
Then time stops.
Alright. Let me see.
For 2 rounds.
Alright, time stops for 2 rounds. So everybody freezes in place for some reason. And I'll give you 2 chances to interact with the wish.
Let's do just a d20 to see if I'll do something constructive or not.
Okay.
Because I could think of one constructive thing to do, but I'm not gonna go to do constructive things. I'm gonna go over and take our son's water bottle and flip it and turn it on.
Alright, he was still, his eye is mid-twitch, and he's got it pointed at you.
Yeah, it's
So-
like in a grasp, so like holding it.
Alright, so as you try to take it from him, since time is frozen, you're
Yeah.
still having a hard time getting it from him, so it's going to require an athletics roll to pull it from his grasp. And I have a set DC, which he makes, of course. So
I can do useless stuff. It's fine. I'm good at
you
it.
rip it from his grasp, and his fingers are still somehow in the same position, but you manage to get it out of his grasp. So it's in your possession. And I'll
Yep.
say that you can take up the rest of your turn to do whatever you want with this. And then the next turn will be whatever you want to do next.
I want him to hold it just the other way and try to activate it.
Okay. So you flip it the other way, and it goes back into his hands.
And
Except
try
the
and turn
opposite
it on.
direction. Alright, so to activate it, you saw him mention
Geyser?
words.
Yeah, he
Alright.
said Geyser, so
Yeah.
I'll say Geyser at it, and then I'll go back to my seat like nothing happened.
Alright. We'll see if it works. So it's your second turn. You can do a second thing if you want.
What else do I see around here? Like what's out in open?
Well, the illusion that Lily is looking at, and Lily is looking at it, and Alatar was looking at you curiously as you were sending message.
Do you have your light hammer on you?
Me?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
So.
But there's a double problem. There's also a problem with that thing. It's tied in a knot on my belt.
Oh, Lord.
I'm doing this mostly as a player, not a character. I have to. I'm gonna try to take his hammer.
Okay. I'll say that this is speed to see if you can do it fast enough before time runs out for when it's frozen. So I'm gonna say a dexterity check. All right. You get halfway through it. What were you planning to do with it?
I was planning to throw it over at Lily where the eagle was.
Okay. So I'll say that you just barely managed to get it off of him as time returns to normal. And I'll say roll a d2, Aeroson. D2.
Did I roll?
Okay, so this is in your advantage. Fortunately,
What did I roll? Because I can't see it apparently.
2.
Okay.
So 2 is the higher number, which goes in your advantage. So, fortunately, his order to turn the thing on didn't work. So that happens. But you have the hammer in your hand, Goroth. But Alatar, you haven't. Not Alatar. Edo-san. He managed to get into a position where he sort of looked like he was in one place and then in another suddenly. But other than that, you don't notice anything different.
As soon as I notice him just close by me,
It's a geyser.
Hold on. You don't even know if it worked, yes or no.
It didn't work, and
But time
you looked
stops.
at him, and you saw that it didn't work. So he says it again. I'm going to allow this because technically he was expecting something to happen, and when it didn't happen, he's going to do it again. So roll another d2.
Well, in the meantime, Arizona is turning it to on him.
Alright, I'll say if that works or not. But roll a d2. Alright, you turn it towards him, but nothing happened anyway.
Okay.
So you turn it towards him.
I guess you have to be attuned or something to that thing.
I guess so. But now, Geyser.
And when he says it, it works. So a bunch of water just sprays at you.
Yeah.
Like a pressure hose that isn't up high enough to kill you. It just sprays a bunch of water.
Well, it was fun.
And knocks him back.
Yes, so it does knock him back. How much, though?
He does need to make a DC 13 strength save.
Okay, so strength save first.
I'm not good at strength.
Alright.
Oh no, it doesn't knock him back, no, it knocks him prone.
Okay. So you got knocked to the floor as you got sprayed with water. And Ado-san, make a perception check as you spray him.
Okay, let me just do that. Get down there. Perception.
You didn't make the DC, unfortunately. You don't notice anything. Other than the weird thing, other than the weird things in the room. So, that suddenly he was in a different place and all that stuff. You notice all those things.
Yeah, I'm just not trusting our great sled. I just point the ticket at him like it's a gun and says, "Why are you so close to me?"
And Goroth, before you answer, you realize that you have the hammer in your hand, but he didn't notice it.
I believe this is yours.
I just narrow my.
Show it to him, and he see it. The hammer's in his hand suddenly.
I just narrow my eyes at him. Snatch my hammer from him.
Should keep better tabs on your stuff. Can't just keep them lying around on the floor.
Alright, so he takes the hammer and then sprays you again. Did you get up when you gave it to him, or were you still on the ground?
Probably like halfway up.
Alright, I'll say that since you were halfway up, if you want to make a strength save, it's at disadvantage.
Sure, why not? Not like I'm good at those. No.
Same number, even. So you fall down.
Yep.
Again. And the bottom of the floor is now coated in water, since he was spraying so much water in this area.
Well, because of that, I completely, not as a player, but in character, I completely forgot what I was doing earlier, so I'll just go back to my seat.
Alright, so you go and sit down, sort of...
Completely wet.
Yeah, you sort of just brush your clothes off futilely, just to straighten them up or whatnot. You don't really care about water. You're a frog person, so water isn't your worst enemy. But either way, you just sort of dust off your clothes, even though it doesn't do anything. And then you sit down.
After that, Ersan just dunks the decant under the water, and it just starts draining the room for some kind of magical reason. The water just keeps filling and filling the decant.
Yeah, there's still a very, very thin layer of water on the floor that, since the angle of the water, you can't get the water in. So there's still a little thin layer on the floor, but you're not able to get it. So
if we ever have an encounter, I'm not gonna have any spells left.
Alright, so actually, Alatar, I'm gonna get you to make just a straight intelligence check. So just click the intelligence button. Alright. You saw all that weird stuff happen. But even so, before that happened, when the trap door opened a little bit, you remember when Edo-san opened the trap door before? A bunch of ash came through. That didn't happen.
Oh.
That didn't happen when he sprayed the water at it and it opened a little bit.
Guys, there was no ash this time. The door opened a little bit.
Yeah, with all the weird things happening, that's why you didn't mention it before. But now you thought was as good a time as any when things calmed down a little bit and he sat down and sort of brushed himself off. You thought that was good.
It was a good water show, you know. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could ask him, or we could just head up, whatever you prefer. Or I could try and read his thoughts.
Sure, you just thoughts first. That's
Yeah,
a little
sure.
bit light of us.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just do my racial spell slot, so I'm not using my actual spells, and do detect thoughts, and I'll talk to him again. Or first see what I hear.
All right. So his initial thoughts are, we're making good time. We'll be at the castle shortly. Those are his initial thoughts.
Oh, he says we'll be at the castle shortly, so he's probably taking us all the way to the genius, you know?
What it seems like.
Those are his initial thoughts. If you want to dig deeper, you can. Up to you.
No, I'll ask him, so how is it going up there now? He said we'll be there soon.
Yeah, we'll be at the edge of the Ashen Plain soon.
Does he think that as well?
And if you still have it active.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how message is. It's not concentration.
A message is not concentration. That's
Okay.
action. 1 round plus. This is 1 action and concentration up to a minute. So up to 1 minute.
So this is a technically ingenious way of reading his mind. Because he has intentional thoughts, which are being transmitted through the message spell. And then he has unintentional thoughts that you're also reading at the same time. So, you get from him, he thinks, well, we've already passed there, but I need to get them to the castle.
See, he wants to get us to the castle for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's with his feud with the Jinn.
There's another detail. Actually, I'll make you roll an intelligence check to see if you pick up on the detail.
Pick up on the detail. Since I cast a spell, I get advantage. Intelligence save or intelligence straight or?
Straight intelligence.
13. Right. And no, it's less than 15, so I'll use Tides of Chaos to do not Tides of Chaos, but Bend Luck. That's my 6th level ability. Spend 2 sorcery points to gain 14. Damn.
14 is sufficient. You remember. Oh crap! I lost the detail that I was going to give you.
You failed the check.
What just happened? So you got that message from him. He says he has to get them to. Oh, that's what it was. You don't remember telling him where the castle was.
Yeah, I think he might have been reading our memories or something, because or he's been lying to us earlier. Well, I know he's been lying. Didn't know if he was lying about that. That seems pretty realistic. And I have seen through his eyes and such, so I think there's something up with that.
You saw through his eyes about an hour ago, and
yeah, I just tell him.
But wait, according to his eyes, you guys were so deep into this ash, you didn't see an end to it.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure, but we could confront him about it. Just walk upstairs.
You can do that.
Sounds like a plan.
Put the robot first.
Yeah,
So,
What?
fixed.
Edo-san, you overheard the conversation. They were he was basically saying that I assume you were relaying the information
Yeah.
to
I was
Alatar?
saying I was speaking to Alatar, but I was speaking. I wasn't yelling, but I was speaking loud enough for the other two to hear us, if they
Okay.
wanted to. Unless they
So-
wanted to ignore us, then that's their fault.
He basically described that Hosmeesh is a shady character and is having some weird motivations that you guys aren't 100% possibly on board with or sure of why he's doing them. So you heard all that.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of weird happenings, and Goroth is basically saying, "Send DT up first."
Like now?
Yeah, we'll all go. I'll be right behind it. Or you, if you
He
prefer.
isn't quite finished.
Yeah, you're looking at his arm, and he fixed the damage, and he reinserted the sword, but he hasn't gotten the ejection mechanism, like it comes out and it goes in. He
You
hasn't
might
got
have
the
to do some
mechanism.
fixes on it afterwards, either way.
Well,
Let's
these
see how
are
it goes.
actually quite important to have him fight properly.
Is it more important than invading a castle that we were supposedly friends with?
Well, it might not be invading, perhaps just talking. Like Lily said, don't judge a book on its cover.
I did not judge him by his cover, I judged him by his thoughts and his inner feelings.
Yeah, basically he read the pages of the book.
I read all of the pages!
So it's up to you.
Well, I still need to fix up DT to actually make it more capable.
I will say that you can keep it in the unretracted, so outward state. And he could still punch, but you're not sure if it would. You're not sure how it would work. So it might have different mechanics than what your character sheet has. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
But
and I
other than
don't.
that, it might work. You might be able to use him still. It's not like he's completely out of commission.
Yeah, I just don't want to risk like breaking it completely.
Fair enough.
Seems like
But
you're doing that every day.
I'm just letting your character, making you the player aware of what your character.
Well,
would
either
like.
way, if you prefer to go upstairs without him.
Well, rather not, but I can make a temporary fix thanks to what he will work.
All right, you can quickly, like within a minute, but it's going to take a minute.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
if Goroth wants to use that mind spell more, you can do that while he's fixing up DT's arm.
Yeah, sure. I'll just keep. I'll not try to probe labor in case he notices me. Or no, actually, I will try to probe labor because we might find something. But I'll do. Was it the Titan spell?
Right.
So he has disadvantage. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one.
Okay.
So wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Okay.
To see why he's bringing us to the castle and what's his plan. Again, even though we know he has bad intentions for the Jinn.
Yeah, you know, you looked in his memories and you got a very vivid memory of a group of efreeti basically ganking an innocent Jin.
Yeah, I
basically.
remember.
So that is in your. You do remember that. So, wisdom was it?
Wisdom, yeah, at disadvantage.
Okay, at disadvantage. So that means roll twice. One. Whoops, that is not the right dice.
I'll keep those.
Not the right dice. So he got a natural 1. So
Yep.
it's even better than what you got on the other one. So he nat 1. So again, to reiterate, what specific ideas are you looking for in his mind?
I'm looking why he's bringing us to the castle and what's his plan for the Jin when we get there.
All right. I'm gonna say, roll. What roll did you get him to do again? Wisdom?
Wisdom, yeah.
Okay, you need to make a wisdom saving throw.
I need to. That's not good. It's only one. It's only supposed to be the one way. But I used this spell, and I have used Wild Surge after I used this spell. No, so that should be back up.
Yeah.
Which means I can have advantage, and I really need advantage on Wisdom because I'm not very wise.
All right, go ahead.
8 plus. Let's see, can we make it 10 at least? 10 is not gonna do it. It's better than an 8 at least. Let's see. 11.
All right, 11. You get 2 weird, conflicting memories in his mind. Seems as though you're encountering some sort of magical countermeasure. Since you tried to do this before, seems like since then he's put up some sort of barrier to prevent you from gaining accurate information automatically. So you're getting 2 conflicting memories in his mind, or reasons why. One of them says, "I just have to negotiate. Our people are dying. Our past should be put behind us. The shadow is too powerful of an adversary for just one of us alone to tackle. We should work together." And the other one is, "Perhaps if we kill this most powerful genie, then we could somehow gain his powers and win the war." You gain those 2. And they're put into your mind instantaneously, like at the same time.
Because I feel like one of them is not the real one. And if
Yeah, you know that one isn't real because this countermeasure seems weird. Like, this has never happened to you before, so something is off.
I'm gonna make the assumption if he really just wanted to negotiate, he wouldn't have put such a countermeasure to it. But if he were gonna go there to murder him and take his power, then rather a larger countermeasure. So yeah, I tell everyone else that he's planning to travel to the castle and kill the Jin. We can't let that happen.
Alright, so you guys are aware of that. What he just told you.
Yeah.
Well, ours just goes like...
Probably. Either way, go ahead.
So it goes like, well, this seems bad indeed. Well, perhaps we can talk about it with him. He might be reasonable.
He's been lying ever since we met him. He's only been talking in lies.
Perhaps to... Oh, would you trust total strangers?
Well, no, that's why I read their minds.
It's true.
So yeah, he has all the reason to like have countermeasures against you.
Yeah, but For murdering? Did you not hear it? He's having a plan to actually murder the Jinn and take his powers.
Well, yes, okay, then we need to stop him. Well, let's not try and kill him.
I could banish him. Potentially. I don't know how strong he is.
Well, if you banish him, then he would just go back to the plane of fire.
And we could warn the Jinn.
Actually, yes, that is what would happen, because if you're on the plane of air, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
But if you're already on the plane of fire still, if you were to banish him, then he could choose where he is sent.
No, he can't choose. It's on a harmless demiplane.
Oh, harmless demiplane? Okay.
So a non-mage would be pretty much fucked. And he's not gonna die or anything, but he's stuck there, so somebody else has to come get him.
Yeah, so if you're still on the plane of fire, it could be a major inconvenience for him. But if you're not, then you're just sending him to where he came from.
Yeah, so he's gonna try again. But let's see if we can deal with him. Take him out. I don't know what you think, Alatar.
Well,
You did agree to have the Jinn as your friend, did you not?
When you were him, yeah.
I meant the other Jinn, like. And thank you, I appreciate it.
Lily says, I liked him.
Yeah, me too. So if we manage to deal with him, then we'd have returned the favor by a long shot.
Yeah, why not?
Is
I mean,
everyone ready with that?
He fed us food for no reason.
Yeah.
And he was nice.
Yeah, I agree. He was nice.
It was nice. It was good food.
I'm still looking like a Jinn now, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jinns are great, I say.
It's as though there's higher priorities than that right now, but
Yeah.
I just have to add it, that's fine.
that's fine. So, what do you guys want to do?
Aerosol is,
Lily's opinion.
Aerosol is kind of debating with himself if he really should attack the Jinn or not, because he did try and help us, but then again, is going to maybe try and kill someone who we are trying to help.
Maybe. He has, like, I've been telling you, I've read his mind. He is going to kill the Jinn. And is using our information to get there.
So if you trust Goroth, then I mean, your character has reason that he might not trust him, but it's up to you.
This is very true. So Aerosol is just debating it with himself, like, should I? Should I not? Should I?
But it seems like the rest of the group is kind of in agreement. I haven't heard anything from Alatar, other than he liked chicken.
Yeah, chicken's good.
Next thing, Leroy!
But if he's saying it was true, then we probably should check out the genie.
Not the genie, he's the good guy. The efreet. That's what they're called.
Yeah, efreet is the name of the species.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that thingy.
They're red-skinned people that come from the plane of fire.
That's thingy,
well,
Bobby.
We're three at least, and I'll start heading back up. Are the rest of you coming?
Alright, Goroth is halfway up the stairs. What do you guys want to do?
Aerosol is just debating it, like he's not. He isn't just sure about it at all.
Alright, so I'll say that anybody who's going up the stairs is going to go up the stairs. Anybody who wants to remain down can remain down for now. And then whenever they want to go up, they can go up. Lily is going to go.
Yeah.
So she runs halfway up the stairs. All right, Alatar, are you gonna stay with Erosan, or are you gonna go?
I'm going upstairs.
All right, Alatar or Erosan, I mean. You are left alone with DT. DT is just looking at you, waiting for orders, because he doesn't have any opinion.
Well,
He's waiting for what you want him to do.
Who cares if the genie dies? He tells you in robot voice.
Yeah, suddenly you just start going insane, and his head, DT's head just starts tilting unnaturally, and he just starts talking to you, telling you terrible things.
Murder everyone.
Yeah, so it's up to you.
no, crazy me, you're not convincing me again to do that.
All right, so it's up to you, Erosan. I'm going to continue with them, and if at any point during this, just interrupt whatever's happening and say that you want to come out, if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair enough. So everybody gets up to the top of the stairs where the trapdoor is. What do you guys want to do?
Say, I'll open it.
All right, you place your hand on it, and the first thing that you notice is it's not burning hot.
Perfect. And I open it wide.
All right, you open it wide. Before you actually exit, you look up, and you see clouds above you. They're sort of just flowing naturally back and forth. And you start to emerge, and you see a red-skinned man, which is Hosmeesh. And he sort of glances back, and he's like, I guess it's safe now. Come on up.
Yeah, we're aware it's safe. But what about your plans?
You notice, before you speak to him,
before I speak.
he's not speaking in broken common anymore.
Okay.
He spoke perfectly.
Can Arison hear that at all?
Make a perception check, because you are far down. You're about 50 feet down, actually.
11.
No, you hear mumbled voices above. You're not sure exactly what they're saying.
That's fair.
Well, we already know your plans for Gisif, wasn't that it?
Yes.
Yeah, Dsith is the Jin's name.
And I'm afraid we can't let you hurt our friend. At least I can't.
Oh, I guess you're aware that we're not on the plane of ash.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I had to read your mind again. I got suspicious.
And he sort of turns around, and he leans against the side of the chariot. The chariot's still moving. The horses are still pulling it. He says, so how much did you get? Seems like he's playing his cards close enough to his chest to see what you know specifically.
Well, I know you know a bit of magic. I mean, trying to create fake memories.
Yes, that little trick, transporting fake memories into someone else's mind, usually only works with mind readers themselves. Just so happens that that's what you are.
I can't help it. The minds are just so open.
Usually, yes. And he's just got his arms crossed as he's leaning against, if you can imagine, the front of the chariot where it's round and where the reins are to control the horses. He's just sort of leaning against it, looking at you guys on the other side of the chariot.
So, I mean, we don't have to do any sort of fighting or any magics or anything. If you would be willing to, we could discuss it over with the Jinn. As long as you come in unarmed and restrained.
Stiff terms. Why should I agree?
Well, as far as I see it, it's either that or us or you die. And you'll have a harder time coming in there.
And he allows you to come out, and he's not preventing you, so you guys can all file up.
Okay.
And I'll just turn back to Erdo-san just for a second. You notice that they went up, there was no threat, and it's not like ash is pouring down the hatch. The hatch is still open. In fact, there's a little bit of a cool breeze coming down from up there.
Well, he
That-
did say we would be somewhere soon. But
It's up to you to make your decision. If you don't want to go up yet, I'll continue this.
Axel just finishes up whatever he was doing with DT and then pets his arm. Just be careful with that, and then heads up the stairs.
Alright. So you start heading up the stairs. The scene continues. I'll tell you when you get up. Alright, so he is pondering your suggestion. And he says, "We aren't there yet. Give me a few moments to think on this."
Well, that seems fair. I'll leave you to your own thoughts then.
Alright, anybody else disagree with this?
You can speak up
Lily is going to defer to your judgment for the moment.
for the moment.
Yeah, she's gonna act soon.
I want to see what he does.
Alright? He sort of turns around and he grabs the reins of the horses. He's acting, at least acting as if your guys are gonna give him a moment to think.
So yeah, I just position myself somewhere not immediately next to the other ones. In case the horses should gallop, I have something to hold on.
Alright, so you're sort of leaning against the side of the chariot, one of the side walls. Unless if you want to be elsewhere.
No, that's fine.
Alright.
And I'll prepare a chromatic orb in case you should start doing something really sketchy.
Alright, I'll say that you hold an action and to cast chromatic orb if he does anything. Because technically, if you cast the spell on the turn that the spell is cast, it's used up. It won't be.
Okay.
So, technically, you're getting ready to cast the spell, but you haven't cast it yet.
Yeah, that's better.
So, like, even if you cast the spell and then don't aim it at anything, it gets used up anyway. So, you might not want to do that. So, I'll say that you prepare your action to use the spell. Fair enough. So, Alatar, you're just waiting. Do you want to move positions?
Yeah, I can move to that side and hold on to the rail.
Alright. You just sort of hold on to the rail, and your curiosity gets the better of you, and you sort of look over, and you see that you're currently riding on clouds.
Okay.
The horses are pulling you over clouds.
Are the horses now on fire as well, or are they like walking on clouds and have clouds up their legs?
The horses are still flaming horses, but their legs are coming into contact with the clouds.
Okay. I was just wondering if they were like changing.
Spirits that were, yeah, they might have been just generic elemental spirits, but these ones are fire specifically. It seems like he's fire elemented, and
Makes sense.
so Lily is going to walk a little closer to him, standing in the middle still. And she's not looking too impressed. She's got like a furrow in her brow. How long are you going to wait?
I mean,
let's say that he's going to wait 5 days. How long would you wait before trying to get an answer from him?
I mean, how long would I assume it takes to get there, or would I have no clue? I can ask him. So how long would you? How long would it take us to get to the castle then?
He glances back and he says, "Perhaps a few more material plane days."
Lies.
You're not sure? You're not sure where your location is because he's had you locked up in a very convenient location to prevent you from knowing where you are.
How about you have the rest of the day to decide?
Alright. And he continues. Sort of uses the reins to whip the horses slightly. Though they're just made of fire, so they might not even feel pain, or it might not even be useful for anything, but he does it anyway.
Yep.
Anything you guys want to do? Are you going to remain up until he answers? Or...
Yeah, assuming we're giving him the rest of the day until night, basically. So
okay.
That's what I had in mind, at least, unless anyone else want to do something.
And I'll say, sorry, I forgot. Edo-san, just as they said that he was, they were going to give him some time to think on it, you came up the stairs.
So
and you hear him say that.
So Elsa just stops at the stairs and then slowly walks back. Like you see the head peek out and then he goes like, nope, not being here at all.
Alright. So you saw him, as you peeked over, you saw him sort of glance back, looking kind of menacingly. And you did notice that his common is a lot less broken than it was last time.
So that puts him already back up on the suspicion level.
Alright. So you have that as you go back down. Unless if you want to go back up as soon as you realize that.
No, not yet.
Alright.
I'm just thinking the rest knows what they're doing.
Alright. I'll say that you go down a few stairs and you sort of listen in while you're going down.
Yeah.
So if you want to stop, you can.
Yeah, I'm not going all the way back. No, I'm just gonna listen in.
Alright. So, Lily, after about 10 minutes, you just see her clenching her fists, looking down, furrowed brow, not very impressed. And after about 10 minutes...
after, when she starts that, or before she does anything rash, I'll just... do you want to play with an eagle again, Lily?
She glances over. She says, "That's nice, but... no." And she starts walking towards him at a very quick pace.
You know, what about giving him some time? Are you sure?
She walks up to him, and she's small compared to him. She can't like reach his shoulder or anything, but she sort of like grabs the bottom, of just above his knee. She grabs there and tries to turn him around, and he willingly does so. And he says, "Seems time's up, huh?" And she goes, "Yeah, your time's up!" And points up at him, yelling at him. And he goes, "Fine. My decision is, I will go in unarmed. But bound I will not. If this is not an adequate decision, then you will be ejected from my chariot."
So you say unarmed, but those fires of yours, they sure seem like weapons.
He sort of holds his hand up, and flames release from his hand, a little fireball, and it just sort of sits there on his hand. He goes, "Oh, You have a point.
Which is why I suggested restraint.
I can still shoot fire, regardless of restraint.
It'll be a bit harder. It'll make us feel a lot better. And if you say you can still do all of that, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue for you.
So Erison just comes up the stairs and says, maybe wear gloves?
He looks over, and he glances over and sees Edo-san sort of poking up above where the trapdoor is. And he just sort of turns around, reaches in one of the sacks, and he sort of just puts these leathery gloves on. You're not sure what type of leather they are. And he holds his hand out, and above the leather glove appears the fireball.
I figured as much.
Well, what was worth a shot?
He makes the fireball vanish, and he takes the gloves off and puts them back in his little sack that he had them in.
How about it's fine on my end as long as we stop outside and we send for a messenger to ask if it's fine on his end. We'll let him decide.
Alright, let me just make a concession here. If you can find adequate bindings for my body, I will allow them.
I start to think to myself, do I have any sort of adequate bindings? I was hoping he would have some adequate bindings.
You can search his chariot. It's not like he's being uncooperative at the moment. You can ask him if he'll non-violently allow you to search his chariot if you want.
I'll look around at the others, so any one of you have efreet bindings? I don't.
I might have an ID.
Anybody who has a bright idea, make an intelligence roll.
Okay, intelligence roll, because I have an ID.
Alright.
8.
Alright. What's your idea?
Well, my ID was to use the bed sheets, because they didn't seem to have catched fire from their 3D when he's sleeping in it.
I'll give you this even with an 8. Efreet are not made of pure fire, so they can turn themselves into a form where they don't burn things that are supposed to burn.
And they seem strong enough to tear through cloth.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's currently standing, like, he has a bed that's made of wood, so if he was just pure fire all the time, then he would burn his bed that he made for himself, assumingly. So, yes, he can be in a form where fire doesn't burn everything all the time, but you saw how easily he could just conjure fire. So, it's up to you.
Well, that's a no then, so I don't... Nope, my plan doesn't gonna work. So scrap that.
Alright. I mean, he could have fireproof bed sheets, you don't know.
So yeah, okay, we don't seem to have found any restraints, so you don't have to be restrained, but we'll have to talk with the djinn before just rushing in.
Fair.
And I cast my detect thoughts.
Alright.
And I say, okay.
Okay, no, I was just going to give you some initial ones, but if you're going to say something as you cast it, you can do that.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say something as I cast it, and I was going to say, and you'll have to promise to not try to kill Jim.
You do see him, you weren't casting it stealthily or anything, so he looks over and he sees that magic is emanating from you. And which may affect what's going to happen, but you're not sure. And he says, I'll agree to your terms. And his surface thoughts are, wow, I got out of that pretty easily.
Yeah. So sure, I'll try to probe him deeper to see what he means.
Okay. He needs to roll wisdom, I assume? 12.
Yeah, 12 doesn't make it.
Okay. He's, again, it seems like it's the countermeasure that he had in place before. So it's going to be the same thing. You're going to get two conflicting thoughts.
Okay, or should I roll?
Well, you can roll.
Okay, if I didn't, then I wouldn't have to. I just thought since I rolled last time.
Okay, you can roll. Yeah, that makes sense. I sort of skipped over that. My fault.
And actually, I can try to make it a 20 if I can find it more accurate.
If you wish.
No, that's 2d4. That's not 1d4. So 1 then, I suppose, because that's the first one. So
Okay.
18.
18. You listen into his thoughts, and you hear what sounds like mumbling at first, and then it seems like the actual thought comes through. And he says, "Oh, I thought that was going to be harder. They found out that I was potentially a bad person, and they didn't try to kill me immediately. That went over well."
But are you a bad person? I tell him.
He knows that you're reading his mind, obviously. Especially now that you're saying something that he didn't say. And we'll get to 90.
Yeah, and then nothing really happens unless he has plans.
Alright. Yeah. You don't notice anything. And he doesn't seem to notice anything. He goes, what was it specifically that you said? Just so that way I can base his answer off that.
But are you a bad person?
Okay. Sorry about that. He goes, rather you not probe into my mind, like I said before, but since you are, and suddenly your deep thoughts are you're ejected from it.
Yeah,
You can't continue.
Oh,
because he's looking at you. Yeah. You can't continue to deep probe.
Yeah.
Without casting it again.
Yeah.
It seems like you're ejected suddenly. And he goes, but I am as good as an efreet can be. So you can take from that what you want.
I'm not overly.
You know that they are lawful. And that they are usually not the best of people. AKA evil. So he has made an agreement with you.
Okay,
Being lawful, he might hold to it depending on what he's lawful toward.
So yeah, I'll hold you at your word then.
He looks down at you. That's big of you. And Lily says, no, that's small of us. And he goes, alright, that is small of you. And she just smiles and walks over towards the stairs. And she was ready to kill him, but once you guys made an agreement with him, so you actually addressed the situation, and she's willing to go with it for now.
Yep.
She wasn't willing to just stand there for the rest of the day. She was impatient. So, what do you guys want to do? He's standing there at your disposal, if you want to talk to him.
Well, I mean,
Well,
if anyone else has input.
Well, no, Ariston doesn't have anything, so he goes to down and work further on DT.
Yeah, that went reasonably well, considering how it could have went. So you go back down, and I'll say by the time you reach the castle, you will have completed your work.
And we would have had another long rest, or?
Definitely.
Okay. Just
So-
more wild surges, nothing.
Well, based on that previous wild surge, I'll say that nothing particularly horrible happens.
We forgot about the
benefit.
meteor.
Oh, yes, I did. Completely forgot about that. So, what I'll say is, I'll make it make sense to why it didn't hit you directly. The efreet, as you begin to walk down the stairs, the efreet says, I suppose this would have been good for the negotiations, but seems that your chaotic magic created something that I had to get rid of.
Oh, what was it this time?
A big floating flaming rock.
Oh, that's happened before. That's never a good sign. Last time I got knocked out.
Yeah, might have hurt me as well, so I got rid of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So basically what he's indicating is a magical rock appeared and he destroyed it, basically.
Yes.
So Ariston pops out for a minute and says, "Ooh, space rock."
He looks down at you and says, I didn't keep any of the pieces, if that's what you were wondering.
Ah, bummer. Well, that's fair.
He didn't know it would be important to you. He just saw a threat and got rid of it.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, I might make another one at some point. You can have one then.
That's
Okay,
true.
that's fair.
Since that is a thing that can happen based on his magic, then yes, it's possible that might happen.
Things can fall out from the sky at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Considering this guy's a little bit more powerful than you thought, he easily got rid of it. You're not sure how, but he claims to have gotten rid of it, whatever it was. He claims it was a big rock, and you as a character, you're not even sure that happened. But it's plausible. It's something that could have happened, and
It's happened once before, so
yeah, it's happened to you before, so it's not completely implausible. So you head back down. Do you guys have anything that you want to work on? I assume Adosan is going to finish his thing
Yep.
with the arm. And I would have said normally that it would have taken you quite a bit longer, but since you've been trapped in this small confined space and you've been working on it pretty much constantly, I'll say that, sure, you finish it. Because you're not doing much else.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were doing other things and you were working on it at the same time, it would have taken you quite a bit longer. So, he leaves the trap door open. He doesn't close it. Probably trying to establish some form of trust, maybe? We're not sure.
That definitely.
Yeah, I don't even go below deck. I just sit up on deck and look around, studying the clouds.
Alright. You see, actually make a perception check.
Perception.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna do.
I'm great at perception.
Normally you don't notice the minute details, but since you're not doing anything else and it's pretty boring here, you sort of just glance up. You notice a few animal-shaped clouds. One that looks like a horse. One that looks like a cat clawing at something. Its arm is a little bit too long from your perspective, so you assume it's like mid claw. And you see what looks like a dog sitting in a natural position, with its ears flopped down next to its head, and it's just sort of looking straight towards down, which is where you currently are from your perspective. But then, as they flow away, they don't take that shape anymore. So you notice those.
I'll just stare at them and daydream.
Alright. Any particular daydreams that would be useful for me to call on later? Yes,
Have you been on hookah, perhaps, Gorath?
He has not, no. He's barely talked to Howler. He was there in the fight, and then he went out to do other things, and Howler something else, so...
Yeah, just curious if he ever was, you know.
He hasn't.
We probably wouldn't have said no to try things from the airplane, but being curious and all.
But that didn't have a chance to happen yet.
No. So yeah, he'll just...
Any useful daydreams is what I was going to say.
He'll dream about, like, he'll just suddenly turn into something, like practice on it, and suddenly they get teleported all over again, and they end up at, like, the ship crashes into the genie castle, and we have a big feast, everyone.
Alright.
So the whole ship gets summoned into the main castle, and we all have a giant feast and get along.
Sounds fun. Alright.
If the efreet can read minds, that's what he sees.
That isn't where I was going with that, but
okay.
Either way. So, Alatar, couple more days. There's a few things that you can. There's a few things that you could do if you want, but it's up to you. If you want ideas, you can.
Yeah, what could I do?
Anybody have any ideas what Alatar could do?
You could contact your Patreon again. You could come to me for wild surges. You could come to me to be banished to other planes or to the material plane to explore. Like, I have all sorts of tricks. How do you wish me to entertain you?
Well, perhaps you could like read the leaf cover book you have. If you at least. Oh no, he can't, because he can't read Sylvan.
I don't know about a leaf color book.
He can read Sylvan, but that isn't the problem.
Yeah.
It's old Sylvan.
Old Sylvan.
Maybe slutties are from another time.
You can try that if you want.
I'll probably get a no from the DM. Yeah, it's fine.
So, you've been given a few ideas. Any of them you want to take up on? Like contacting your patron? That's something that you could easily do.
That's true. You know what to ask him.
That's fair.
Yeah, actually, I'll approach you one of the days there, and I'll ask you. So you know this Archfey, is it?
Yeah.
So I've only read about them, but they seem to be have been around for a very long time. Is there any chance he would know what would happen if the green slad would end up eating a black sladdy heart?
Green slad.
You as a character, you can roll to see if you understand what he means.
Okay, what would that be?
Inside
Nature.
probably, or in nature.
I'll say nature. You have no idea what he's talking about.
I have no idea exactly.
You know that he's a slad and that he's green. That makes sense. And you know that there was a black one, and he
Took his heart.
took something out of its
Because-
chest, but you don't know what he means by like why he would want to eat it, like what that would do to in other situations. You have no idea why he's asking you this question.
Sure, I do not.
So you could ask me, or you could contact your Patreon. Or, yeah.
Yeah, so you could just go to your patron and be like, "Hey, I got this question. I have no idea what it means," or you can just ask him why he wants to know that sort of thing.
I'll ask him first. What does he want to know?
Well, normally the only way for another black slab to be made is the previous black slab or one of the previous ones. There's only a certain number of them. Would I know how many? Or I probably wouldn't. Or
Some of them have gone missing, so you don't know if they still exist, so you're not entirely sure of the exact number. You do know that there was a certain number at one point, but you didn't keep that information because you're not sure anyway.
yeah, but basically, the black one has to die for a grey one to take its place. Which greys are a bit weaker. But I've only heard about the grey people eating the black ones.
And a green one?
I've never heard about the green one before. I never talk about the blue ones and the red ones. They're not. Yeah, they wouldn't even understand what I'm talking about, probably.
You do know that in the room was a blue one and some red ones.
I'm calling the blue ones idiots, at least, with other words.
Yeah. So you know that he's talking about things that you have reference points to, but you're not drawing the lines that he is, because maybe it's a cultural thing that you're not sure of.
Okay. I guess I can put like my straight arch and ask him that questions.
Well, it would be much appreciated. At least if you knew something.
I can do that.
All right. So you actually do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So you get into your meditative state, and the vision quite quickly appears this time, and you see him sort of just nonchalantly walking through this weird forest, and he is just about to pull your perspective down when suddenly you see what looks like a pink bear with long ears appears in front of him. And he sort of just waves his hands in front of his face and just sends a magical beam towards it, and it sort of goes, and the bear turns orange, and then starts scampering away, and then he pulls your perspective down to him, and he goes, "Bad timing, but what is it?"
One thing I really started to feel myself fall asleep.
Okay.
I should go soon as well, but we can finish this Fae meeting and
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a fit thing. And we'll go.
Sure. All right. If
So,
Giovanni,
Ken?
if you want to stay, you can. If you have to go, go ahead.
No, I really I want to go because I can feel myself fall asleep here.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, bye guys.
Idea.
yeah, see ya.
All right. So he pulls your perspective down, and he says bad timing, and what he and he said, "What is it?"
Everybody wants to know what would happen if a green slab would eat a black slab's heart.
Where are you getting this question? He just asked this to you?
Yes.
Does he have one?
Yes.
That is surprising. I had no idea that you... Were you part of the slaying? Basically, he's asking you if you were there when this happened and if you contributed at all to killing it.
Did I kill that thing?
Yeah, you were part of it.
Yeah, you were part of the fight, but you
I
didn't.
didn't kill it.
I don't think he got the. Or our son got the killing blow and how paralyzed it, so he got crit, but you did participate, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there, but I didn't kill it. Yeah. So, yeah, I was there.
You are becoming much more powerful than I thought. Either way, I guess that's a good thing. You're mastering my skills that I've provided for you. He sort of glances off to the side. You think that you're progressing at a rate at this point that he's not entirely comfortable with, but he's not telling you that's directly.
Okay.
But either way, he says, "Oh, sorry, I got lost for a moment. Must have been an encounter with that beast. Either way, if, well, usually it's only greys that eat black slad heart, but I may have to get back to you on this one. I might have to do some research. You might do well to do some of your own as well.
Okay.
Though I can give you a rudimentary explanation of what slats are. I know that you were traveling with some creature that the description sounded the same, but I wasn't. You didn't specifically use that word, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I never actually. I don't think Oh, yeah, I have said I'm a slat, but not to everyone.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'll say that he didn't
Yeah, it's easy
describe
enough.
you that way. So the Archfey says, "Oh. So, you have some very strange allies. Are you sure that you're safe with such a creature?"
Yeah, I'm sure I'm safe with them.
Well, I'll defer to your judgment on this one. But
are you sure? I've teleported you to several planes.
Basically, the green slads aren't good creatures usually. So the fact that you're safe with one is kind of taking him aback. But either way, he goes, I may have one option here. May I take over your mind for a moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Suddenly you're back to your perspective, but you're not moving yourself, and suddenly you just reach out towards Goroth. So Goroth, you see him in his meditative state. He suddenly just quickly gets up and just grabs onto your shoulders. Do you allow this to happen?
Was it such urgency? What happened?
He grabs onto your shoulders. Do you allow that to happen?
Yeah, allow him to grab my shoulders.
Alright. Suddenly you have the same vision that he's having. And it's sort of like you are way up here and you see what looks like a hazy outline of Alatar's body sort of floating in front of this weird creature that I described before many times. So you can defer to what that looks like. And he sort of pulls you down, and Alatar, you now see what looks like a blurry outline of Goroth beside you, and you've never seen anybody else in a vision like this before. So you're sort of both next to each other in the vision, and the Archfey actually starts acting like somebody who's trying to make a conference call on a telephone, and he's like, "Can you both hear me?"
I believe so.
And he's like, "Oh, it worked. I wasn't sure if that was going to work. So who are you? I think your name is Goroth?
Yes, that's right. I'm Gorath. I'm not too familiar with your name, other than your Archfey.
Well, it's because I haven't given it to you. Neither have I given it to my companion as of yet.
Very well then.
You can simply refer to me as Your Eminence, or any other respectful term that you wish. But if it's easier, you can refer to me as Archfey.
Yeah, okay then, say.
Okay. And he seems relatively fine with whatever you call him. He doesn't care. You're not one of his priority people or students or anything, so he doesn't care what you call him. So he goes, so why do you want to obtain this power if you are good? And he's looking at Goroth.
I mean, at some point somebody will get it.
But why you?
Well, I feel like it's better for me to have it than let it fall into another Grace lad doing the same stuff over again.
You realize what power is contained within.
I've heard some of it. I haven't heard of any good aligned or good black slutties, but then again, I haven't heard of them all, and I haven't heard of many good green ones either.
Nor have I, which is why I am curious about your intentions.
Well, I intend to roam around the plains, looking for things to do, help people. So far, I've done a great job, I think.
He looks over to Alatar, and he says, "Has he been doing a good job?" And if you try to respond, Goroth, you can't speak.
No, I was just adding that I was saying that very confidently. Like, I believe I've done a good job, but yeah.
He's looking over to Alatar to confirm.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job.
Alright, and he sort of waves his hand in front of you. You can speak again.
Alright.
If you want.
No, not really. I was just saying.
So he says, there have been some stories that I've heard from plane hoppers, we call them, such as yourself.
That sounds like me. I was just about to say. So that's the name they're giving us.
Well, that's what we call those who are powerful enough to change planes at will, but I'm not sure that you have that amount of control, but I will accept you as one of them, if that's what you want.
Well, the thing is, I only change planes when I'm in danger.
Interesting. Either way, I might have to look into this for you, Alatar. It might put you in more danger than help, so I'll look into it for you. And you notice that this Archfey is now taking note of the fact that you just mentioned that, and is probably going to research it.
I fully believe it. Like, it's happening when I'm in danger. That's when I'm changing planes.
Yeah. So you have a feeling that this Archfey is going to look into it, see if there's any merit to what you're saying, see if there's any way you can. It's actually something that might help you if this Archfey finds something.
So, like, when I'm in danger, like, plane shift.
Possible. That's possible. The Archfey says, either way, there have been stories that we've gathered from plane hoppers that there have been instances of good alliance laddies such as yourself who thought that they could control the heart, though they were grey. They failed.
They all failed.
At least the ones I've heard of. But I've never heard of a green devouring a black heart. Usually the grey ones keep a pretty close guard to the blacks, and when they inevitably perish.
Yeah, well, it was a kind of strange event. I went to the base, blew it up, and teleported him with me to the material plane.
Another accident, I assume?
Well, one of the parts.
Alright, I'll believe that for now. Till I have reason not to.
And by that, like, I go in more detail. But and by that I mean I meant to destroy their operation, but the changing planes was just by it was my self defense mechanism. They were starting to attack me, so I just changed planes.
That could be useful. It could be.
And I found other people there who helped me, like Alatar.
Looks over to Alatar. So, you've been useful to him. How do you feel? It's almost like he's playing the role of a psychiatrist at this point.
Right? Oh, it's worked out, so I feel good.
And honestly, this Archfey has played therapist to you on more than one occasion.
True.
Basically, you went and talked to him at a few points when you were down. I mean, he's there, so he's a friend that you can talk to. And whenever you talk to him about emotional things, he tries to pry like a professional psychiatrist would. But either way.
More juicy gossip.
Well, Archfey usually don't do much, and they find the lives of mortals entertaining, so that might be part of it.
Yeah.
So, he goes, so knowing this, that most of your predecessors have failed in your thoughts about this mission that you might undertake, you might not.
That's why I have not already ate it.
Yes. But, knowing this, would you ever eat it in any moment?
That would really depend. I don't think that's something I can answer now.
He turns to Alatar and he waves his hand in front of your face again to prevent you from speaking. And he says, here is my advice, Alatar. Do not associate with this creature. This is my final warning. I will not pry anymore if you choose to associate with it. But if you do, just know that he will inevitably kill you. That is my final warning. And he waves his hand in front of your face, Goroth, and suddenly you're just seeing Alatar grabbing your shoulders, and his eyes are rolling into the back of his head. So he's obviously seeing his vision still, but you're not.
So I'll wait for him then.
Alright. So, Alatar, he says, I said that in front of him, so that way he knew that I disapproved. But it is up to you, inevitably.
I'm an idiot, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm an idiot.
Alatar,
I
any
will
opinion
tread
on what just happened?
One day he will betray me. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, if he has the heart in his possession, and he claims that he doesn't know whether or not he's going to eat it ever. So basically, what the Archfey is taking from that is, as long as he exists with that heart, he's going to kill you. He's going to eat it inevitably, and then he's going to kill you. So
Okay.
that's that's the Archfey's opinion. So what do you want to say in response? Do you want to defend Goroth, or do you want to just leave it at that, or?
Let's kill him first.
Now, for the time being, leave it at that. But also, tell him, I'll tread lightly, and if I get a chance, I will take the heart from him.
All right. So do you say that to your patron that you might want to try to take that from? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He goes, well, I wish you luck in that, but I hope you are not corrupted by its power. I hope I have trained you well enough. But unless you have anything else,
No, that's it for now.
all right. I'll talk to you later, I suppose. I am still waiting for an entrance into the material plane, but I see that you're still not there, so I'll give you some time.
Okay.
Next
And
plane up.
he waves his hand in front of your face, and you're suddenly just standing there in almost a choking position of Goroth. But you're not, like, choking him to death. You're just sort of got your hands on his shoulders, threateningly.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Well,
Goroth, you see
awake
that
now?
he's back to consciousness, if you want to do something.
Yeah, don't worry. I have no plans to kill you.
I don't know. But also,
If it should ever happen, I do have this. Yeah,
And
why don't you take it?
What do you give him?
The yellow potion, of course.
Alright. So he's giving you the yellow potion. Do you tell him what it does?
If you're ever scared of dying, just drink this.
Alright. So
And
basically,
I pull out my skin to show you how it works. So you see, the last time I died, I crawl out of here. You should be able to do the same.
Okay.
So basically, you can put your inventory for as long as he allows you to have it, or as long as you do have it.
Well, it's your now, so.
Yeah. So you can put in your inventory Potion of Resurrection. And basically, the way he described it to you, I'll tell you the effects. Basically, if you drink it, if you die within an hour of drinking it, then you die, you still die, but the next day, you're resurrected.
Okay.
Which is why he was dead for all that time and then came back. So he resurrected after the day was over.
Cool.
So if you drink that potion, that's what will happen.
So in my mind, that would make up for your fears about me killing you, because you can pass it.
True.
So your patron isn't there to give his opinion, so it's up to you how you want to take that.
That's for now, it's a friendship reach, companion reach.
All right.
So,
All right. Alright, so he takes it from you. He seems like he raises an eyebrow towards you. And he seems receptive to your giving it to him. He seems to understand that the fact that you're trying to be friends with him.
Well,
Yeah.
anyways, I'll just go over there, and I sit like 5 feet away from him.
Alright, so he moves about 5 feet away and sits down. Seems like he's not entirely good at making friends. So he just like, okay, that just happened. I did the good thing. Now I'm going.
I'm making it. Okay.
Making no eye contact.
Alright. So he's looking away from you. And you can take that however you wish, but that is where we'll end off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna cut this